Hey, we live. What's up? I go by Figo Navarro. I'm with my brother Cineo, Alex Osborn, and we are the
Yo,
Lyrical Ones. And this is episode 5. I got 5 on it.
5.
mm,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy Thursday, y'all. How y'all living?
it's a great Thursday. First Thursday in July. We on the downslope. We passed the apex of the year. Uh, we on the way down to December. Some days it feel like down, sometimes it feel like up, but it's a good day.
True.
Today
Right.
was a good day.
About that. What you, Cineo?
So earlier we had an interview. Yeah, we out here. Earlier we had the interview, and it was with Leah James, which we'll cut into later. But it was powerful. It was moving. It was uplifting. We definitely had a great time. It was me in June, and yeah, I mean I can't complain right now. Things are going smooth.
Yeah, right on for taking leadership on that, man, and just taking initiative with connecting with June and making it happen.
It's all good. I mean, how you doing? How's things with you?
Man, I've been back to back, Zoom to Zoom, in every room. It's what I do. Yeah, nah, I've been cool. I just got off the live that I do for Upstar for my job and chopped it up with some artists on there. And yeah, man, feeling good. I got to hoop today, got to sweat. You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? Alex, you know how important this is. As a personal trainer, I need to stay consistent. And that is where I
I
struggle.
mean, as humans, our bodies are built to move, and so it's like if you don't do regular movement, even if it's not rigorous or
Yeah.
strenuous, right? The regular movement is key to being the whole self, right? That's the way I see it. A lot of times we misappropriate what that movement looks like, but really, taking time to move, is key to knowing who you are sometimes.
Amen.
And when we're denied that movement, whether it's because we're sitting at a cubicle or me playing video games, when we're denied that movement because of injury, um, it's a part of ourselves that's not there. Whether we want to admit it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not, or recognize it or not, um, you know, always move. You know,
Stay moving.
don't stop, don't
Airplane.
stop,
I
don't
mean,
stop,
you
don't
can't leave an
stop,
airplane on the
don't
runway.
stop,
That's the
don't
fly.
stop.
So
Uh,
Yeah, man.
we
I
sh-
gotta stay moving.
we should you should just send an invite to Toddy right now, one of the Beanie Boys, see if he just come in
Come in
real
and
quick.
just shows a little quick 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get with that. Toddy's dope. Hey, I'm going out to LA. Speaking of the Beanie Boys, we heading out to LA next week, doing a little introduction video to this group, and yeah, just try to, what I'm saying, create some content out there, the little photo shoot, and knock out when the project is done. We're just going through the mixing, mastering stuff. So right on for shouting out Toddy and
Yeah.
the rest of the gang. Shout out to Adrio Diaz and Malifornia, Malik Q.
Yeah, just like Cineo, Toddy also came out to my class one time, um, down over at the Salesforce Park when I would be yelling at folks, um, helping them become their true self.
Wait, is that the when Cineo said that he went too hard? Was that the time you said you ran?
He Well, he had already went hard before that, and he didn't tell me that he was injured already, and
Come
so
on,
he just
that
put,
sounds like Cineo.
you know, just put icing on the ankle cake, and he was just hurting afterwards. And it's cool though. I gave him a ride
thank God.
back to the spot, and he slapped some slaps, and vibed. You know the vibes.
You know the
It's
vibe.
always good listening to some new Bay Area rap at the time. I think 40 he just dropped another one again.
Yep.
Uh, 40 dropped like 2 projects a year. Shout out
Mm,
to E4O.
shout out to the
Shout out
E4.
to E40 for real. Cause that workout I had, man, was a killer. I ran like through the city to some degree, right? Got to Salesforce. You know, Alex is over here leading a group of like 100 people who are all sweating. I jump in. I already had an injury, pre-existing condition, right? I ran on top of it. Then he got us running around the Salesforce Tower like park. And
Yeah.
our hands up.
Which is
Every time I do squats, I always keep my hands up because I'm like, this is a challenge. So yeah, if you want to get your sweat on, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way, and Alex knows it.
Yeah, we got ways to grow.
Hey, speaking of that, I seen on your story, man. You said you put up the question like, are folks ready to do a little social distance workout? What would that look like?
We'll put together a few locations around the city, probably the Bay Area too. I'm gonna put the bat signal out so people know, and just stay tuned at ALFLUENT is the IG, Alfluent, and my thing is I'm the community fitness guy, so sometimes you just need somebody to take the reins, help people get to where they need to go. I always see it as it's a tough thing to start, that self-exploration of fitness, because it's really about yourself. And I think the more you stay in it, the more you learn about yourself. And sometimes it's hard to get started. And, people, if they show up to me, they come in with this, mustard side seed of trust. And my job is to nurture that trust, say this is a safe place for you to take it to the next level, whatever that next level looks like, whether you've been doing it for a long time, in some form or fashion, or just getting started. The next level looks different every day, and it's put the hours in, put the time in, put the learning in, and my job is to teach you as much as I can, whether I get 30 minutes, an hour, or a year. My job is to pass on as much of what I've learned in the last decade as possible. Well, I guess lifetime, really.
Solid.
Starting to sound like bombs over Baghdad outside right now.
Oh yeah, that part.
Outside the talking walls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy Thursday, everybody. We on the eve. We 2 days before July 4th. It's just the 4th day of the week. It's really the homie Cross Islands B Day. That's what we celebrate around here.
But
that's what
before we I want to feature this interview by Leah James. So we're gonna give time for the Leah James interview right now, because when we get on this cross, Alan, trust me, bruh, we got some things to say. So with that, this is the Leah James interview.
For sure.
By myself and Junior P. Jones, and we'll be right back.
Shout out June.
All right, well, welcome to Lyrical Ones. My name is Junie B. Jones. I have Miss Leah James, spoken word artist and political activist, here with us, along with our co-host, Cineo.
Cineo.
Forgive me, is that how you'd like to be introduced? How do you want to be introduced? Introduce yourself, Cineo.
Well, I mean, for those that know and those that don't, I'm Cineo. I'm the big supporter of the lyrical opposition movement and co-host for Lyrical Ones. And, right now, here we are. And this is a special segment, spearheaded and directed by June. Just so you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
But the mask, if you don't know, like I say all the time, right? This is about protecting your privacy, right? In a world of overindulgence and commodification, your identity, I'm gonna be the one to always speak to having some privacy and having some anonymity. So, as some of my favorite idols, if you will, said it, nobody cared who I was till I put the mask on. So
I like that a lot. I'm about to get a mask. People are gonna know it's me because I talk all the time and they know my voice. But still, I like that idea. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Junior P, back to you.
Oh, thank you so much. And your mask is it's original and it's appreciated. I think it sends a message that everyone
Mm-hmm.
can hear. And if I may share about messages, all right. So we have a special segment, yes, for this portion of Lyrical Ones, where we are highlighting and really, I would say, the Black Lives Matters movement, but from a different perspective, and that perspective is of Miss Leah James, who is no stranger to sharing her voice through the artistry of spoken word poetry. If I may share, if I have to gas her up, I mean, I have to let her up because
Yes.
Miss Leah James is from New York, and you have, I would say, debuted to the world with Dear Black Man, a manifesto more than an in memoriam to fuel the Black Lives Matters movement. And this video itself has acquired over 25,000 views on YouTube, and a quarter of that has gone to your most recent posting of this performance earlier this month from Times Square. So if the future is female, then Leah James is now.
That was so, oh my God, I got chills.
Girl,
Wow.
you okay?
Yo, I'm badass. Yo, you were talking and I'm like, that's me. That's wild. That's so great. Thank you, June. Thank you.
So yes, now that we are here, tell us about yourself. Who is Leah James, the spoken word artist?
So I am Leah James. I'm originally from Chicago. Well, I'm from Joliet, Illinois. If you know where that is, it's usually not a good thing. From the hood. And I lived in 7 different houses by the time I was 11 years old. We were extremely poor. And the last house I lived in was the one I was in the longest for about 3-4 years. I lived in an all Black neighborhood, and there was like 2 white families on my street, and we were one of them. And my mom opened up our home to literally everyone. So I grew up in a home that like was all different colors, literally. So my mother never taught me not to see color, because I think that's bullshit. But she taught me to embrace everyone no matter what they look like, because when you're poor, you all just poor. Like, it's like you're all fighting the same battle. So I grew up in that environment. As far as like my political poetry or whatever you want to call it, it's influenced by my upbringing. I literally watched the police like ruin my brother's lives just because of their proximity to Blackness. My brother has been arrested and documented as a Black man. We're white, but my father is half Native, or was half Native and half Irish, and then my mother was half Sicilian and half German. So we're like creamish white, you know what I'm saying? Like mixed, like, but we're still white. So it was a really interesting upbringing, because I thought that was normal, right? And then I moved, after my mother died, I moved to Hamilton, New Jersey, which is like the whitest place on earth that I've ever seen. Like, I always compare it to this. Like, you ever see the movie White Chicks? So
yeah.
when I first saw the movie White Chicks, like, I didn't understand it. I was like, what? Because I didn't know anyone who talked like that. And I didn't think it was funny, because I'm like, I don't have anyone to compare this to, right? So then I moved to Hamilton, New Jersey, and I swear to God, like, my whole high school talked like the people in White Chicks. Like, it was so funny, yo. I was calling my friends back home, like, oh my God, they wear mini skirts and boots out here, like in the wintertime. Like, all the stereotypical shit that white people do that like I thought was like a freak thing just for Hamilton. Like, it was just so funny. But then I started going to an all Black church, literally like 700 Black people than me. And I was part of that church for 10 years. So all of my main socialization has been from Black people or people of color, but specifically Black American people. And I started writing these poems and stuff like that. And when I was 16, I had a stroke. I survived a brain hemorrhage, and I lost my short-term memory for 3 years. And I have crazy faith. At the time, I was really, really Christian. now I'm just like a millennial that's like, I'm super spiritual, you know? So like now I'm deeply spiritual, but I know something greater than me healed me and got me better because my voice is here for a purpose. So from having a stroke and losing my short-term memory, it gave me this crazy boldness and this crazy like audacity, if you will, to speak. And so like the miracle of me surviving mixed with you know, my upbringing and my proximity to Black people and Blackness and Black culture, mixed with my, you going to hear my voice because I'm meant to be heard, is how Leah James came to be this bad bitch in front of you right now.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
That is okay. All right. Now, can we let everyone hear just how bad you really is, though? Can you do a piece? Could you do Dear Black Man for everyone to hear?
I would love to.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. I might cry a little bit because now when I do it in a climate like this, it hits really hard. Even though America has been racist and Black men and women have been getting killed, there's something different about, I don't know if you guys can agree, but it feels different this time. So every time I've been asked to perform this poem recently, I've gotten really emotional. So that's probably what happened, just to let you know.
And that is just fine. However it flows.
All right. Dear Black man, I am not staring at you because I think you are going to rob me. I promise. I will not hold my purse tighter when you are around, nor lock my car doors just because you walk by. I cannot stop staring at you because your beauty is breathtaking. It reminds me of safety, of protector, of strength. Your melanin holds manuscripts of those who created dynasties birthed by queens who first populated this planet. Your melanin is magic. This is no Mandingo memoir, nor some type of sick fetish. You are no object, nor oversexed male. You are lover, friend. You are no thug. Let this serve as a reminder that your life matters more than just the people who look like you. I speak for the people who look like me, who may actually just be afraid to say it, that without you, there is no America, no so-called land of the free, where your equality is said to be subpar to even me. There is no revolution, no passion, no arts or music. There is no renaissance, no birth, no breath, no life, no me, no spoken word. You are the creator of good things. God's image is etched into your very being. Black man, you are no boy. The pavement was never meant to be your grave. Blood-splattered shirts were never meant to be your attire. Your skin was never meant to be a target. Your smile was never supposed to fade. Your wings were never meant to be caged behind bars in a country that you helped build, symbolized by an eagle. Despite the hypocrisy, you forgive. Black man, it is okay to cry. I will cry with you. We will cry with you. Solidarity was never meant for the cold-hearted anyway. Let's leave the hate for the media and the lies that they spray, they spit on your character as though it were dirt at an attempt at making the blind see. They are no savior. They are serpents, poisoning society, lacing eyes shut to oppression, manipulating minds to make them think that the selling of young Black men to the prison system is just a figment of our imagination. Black men, you are no slave, no convict, no criminal. You are brave. You are bold enough to face another day in a country that teaches that your face should be feared. Black man, I thank you for living, for being. Forgive the stares of strangers. They may be out of fear, as in reverence, as in respect, as in awe of such a precious life. Black man, you matter. Black life matters. Thank you.
Absolutely breathtaking.
Thanks. Ooh.
Thank you for that. Like, you know, given that it was, you wrote that, well, from what I seen, was that from 2016, 2015?
Yeah, and I actually wrote it like 2 years prior to ever releasing it.
And them words still sting, like,
yeah,
hyper relevant for you know, every unfortunate time, every, kind of
Right.
catastrophe that's happened, like those words ring forever true. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel them, the gravity.
Wow. Yeah, it's deep, man. It's crazy. Someone told me the other day, they're like, it's timeless. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, it's a beautiful poem, right? And it's a reflection of my heart. But it also angers me that like I even had to write it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, I don't know. It's been weighing heavy on my heart. And I should not be praised as a white woman that I wrote this shit. Like, like it's a very conflicting feeling when I do it. This should be the norm. It should be a normal thing to say and to believe and to hold true because it is true. So yeah.
Thank you, and I agree. And if I may share, I do recall saying, Leah, that you were in the Black Lives Matter protest with the top that says "Matter is the minimum."
Oh
And,
yeah.
and to also bring it back to your piece, the imagery that you give is it's almost too much to process. I know that you have a line about the pavement, and it's almost foretelling of the most recent murder of George Floyd, on how his neck was pressed down by the knee of a police officer for 9 minutes. So
Right.
it's powerful. And you're right. I think that we should be gathering and praising under different circumstances. But if this is a reflection of what's taking place in our world today, this is for the culture. This is the culture to
Right.
join together. I'm just thankful to be sharing in this moment and hearing your words.
Wow. Thank you for that. Yeah, definitely. It's funny because like, I don't know, people would, I think I was naive in like the opposite way. I grew up thinking everybody loved each other. And I do think that speaks to my white privilege in a way, but I also grew up around people who didn't look like me, who fully accepted me, who welcomed me in. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when people would thank me, I would be like, for what? Like, it would confuse me. And so now that I'm older, I'm starting, I understand now. I get it. Like, I am unique. Like, I don't know any other white women my age anywhere. And I travel a lot who are doing it. So I get it. I get the thank yous now, but still, I still hope one day that this will be the norm, that it won't be shocking for a white person to speak out on behalf of Black people, because yeah, it's just something that it makes me very angry, to say the least.
I mean, rightfully so. I mean, it is a thing that the contrast is always going to stand out, right? Like, you as a white woman speaking to kind of the Black pain that exists within this country. And like, we live in an era now where everything is recorded, everything is documented, everything is kind of, everybody can see everything. There's nothing, to the imagination, right? And our worst fears being projected on a constant basis. And it holds hyper relevance for you to take the stand that you have to kind of, just speak from your heart and let it be known, like, your experiences, who you are, giving context to that piece. Like, more people need to know that there's people out there that exist, that care, that have the compassion and empathy to see beyond the constraints and like the oppressive standards that have been put on us all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like, it's bittersweet in the sense that it took for you to be in a impoverished situation to have to live in a community where you can't get away from it. Like, there's no separation. You're in it.
Right.
And
Right.
fortunately you had, a parent or a guardian or a mother that was able to be like, we're here. Like, we're a part of the community. Like, we're not gonna segment or cut ourselves off. Like, we're a part of the community now, and you are a part of this community. So
Right.
responsible as a community member. And so to me, you know, hearing this piece and hearing, you know, your perspective, it is uplifting. It means something to me as a Black man to know that there's other people out there who are willing to use whatever benefit, whatever privilege, whatever they have, the platform that they've been given, to be able to highlight my family, because that's what it comes
Well, yeah.
to, right? Like, you highlight my cousins, my brothers from another, who, you know, we're living in this society right now where we're targets, we're hunted.
Yeah. Right.
We don't have the most best representation from the white community, if you will, to be like, hey, love y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Never that, you know, that clear. And it's like, you know, to know that we have allies out there, we because, you know, you put yourself in a vulnerable position to say these things,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's gonna be people who identify you with this, and it's for the,
Yeah.
and it can also be for the worse. So, you
Oh
know,
yeah, definitely. I've had backlash from Black and white people,
I mean,
and it's like,
don't happen, you know.
but I get it. I get it. I get more so the Black people's annoyance than the whites, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you see another person who looks like you saying, hey, Black people are oppressed, stop killing Black people, you think you would listen. But if you see someone who looks like the oppressor saying, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference. So I totally get it. Like, at first it would bother me, but now I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I get the backlash, and like, literally, like, I've had people in college, like, because I've been like this my whole life. Like, I've had people in college, like, and now we're like super good friends, relationship, and to build that trust. And I think from educating myself and realizing like the relationship between Black and white people historically, why that occurs. And so it's like, I don't really take to heart anymore. Well, sometimes I do because I'm emotional. I don't really take to heart though, like the questioning of like the validity of my message or my experiences. And I think that took time as well, like getting to know myself, getting to embrace my experiences, like, you know, being in a white person's body and being in Black communities my whole life. Like, it's been a journey. But to hear what you just said and your perspective and how, you know, it just, I don't know, it just makes sense. And the more I perform it and the more people I do it in front of, the more I get why people say what they say. And yeah, I hope I just made sense.
Absolutely. There's so much to unpack.
Right.
and we're just flowing. So everything is as steady as she goes.
Right.
Let's see. What more would you like your listeners to know about you? You had mentioned that you've done showcases before. Are you out on the East Coast doing showcases? How can we see you more? How can we get more of your works?
Well, I currently live in Trenton, New Jersey. Everyone thinks I'm from New York, so I was honored when y'all said that. I was like, I am, but I'm not. I would spend like half the week in New York and half the week in New Jersey. But my artist showcases that I host are in Trenton. So I chose to do it in my community because at the time, nobody was doing what I wanted to do here in the community. And then I was an Uber driver and I talked my head off. So I met two people who worked at a Starbucks that opened downtown Trenton. At first I was so angry. I was like, they gentrifying Trenton, they got a Starbucks, you know, whatever. But then Starbucks, actually there is only 10 community stores across the country, and they're in urban, I guess, I hate that word, but they're in like urban areas that are more city-like, that have more diversity in the population, and Trenton is one of them. So I picked up two people and they were like, yo, you should host a showcase at Starbucks. And I was like, what? You should introduce me to your manager. So they did. And I met the manager and she like cried when she met me. We're like super close now. She lets me use their space for free. So I get to host artist showcases, and like my first 3 showcases, all the people on my showcases are Black because that's like all I know. But like, you know, I uplift voices that normally would not be heard. And it's really, really dope to see that happen, that occur, and then other people to get booked off of like, I'm like, oh, finally, like I'm doing what I always wanted to do. So just like from being myself and meeting people and sharing my story, I've had opportunities given to me to help others. From working with the Starbucks, I put on a clothing drive with my friend. Her name is Maja. She has her own clothing line called Exo Maja, and we did a pop-up shop where people can come shop our shop and take clothes for free in the community, and Starbucks let us use their community room. So that's when the whole controversy happened with Starbucks. I was like, I'm just gonna keep drinking it and keep it a secret, right? Like, cause I was like, I can't. Number 1, I'm an addict. Number 2, I'm like, there's no way. So Starbucks is not against Black Lives Matter. They just wanted their employees to wear a uniform provided by them, not their own clothing. And so they interviewed one barista and they spun it. And of course it went viral because everybody want to cancel everybody in this day and age for everything. Because I talked to the manager about it. I was like, girl, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can keep working with y'all. And then she broke it down to me. And then if you look in the Trenton store, everyone who's employed there is Black or Latinx, or like a woman, or they only hire like minorities or people who are marginalized, like in the store. So it's like if you want to we were talking like how if you want to shut down the store, you'll be taking away jobs from your own people. So from working with them, it's helped me to get more involved in the community and more involved in a political way. So from using my poetry and giving other people a platform, I've got introduced to the Starbucks manager who knows the mayor, who knows all these people in Trenton. And it's just really, really cool. Like, I just did it from being myself. And my purpose behind doing it is like, I want people's voices to be heard. I feel like I have been given so many large stages. Like, I have spoke on the world's largest poetry showcase stage twice. People trust me with their stage. So I'm like, this is not an accident. If people are going to listen to me, y'all going to listen to my friends too. And so I made it happen and it's worked. And I cannot wait till the world opens up again, probably in like 5 years. But I just can't wait to like do it again. So yeah, it's more than just an artist showcase. It's like I don't know what to call it.
And we cannot wait for you to do that again. I mean, we're waiting for the world to open up as well.
Right.
Don't get us wrong.
Right.
Yes, it sounds like you're an integral part of your community, and just using the message that there is a power to your voice that is being passed on to each and every person that partakes in your showcase, or even comes just to seep in the
Wow.
wisdom and all the love that sounds like is going on. And I'm just so thankful and excited to hear about everything.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
And we're happy to call you friends.
Sorry, June.
What happened? So there's a delay on my end. So can y'all hear me?
What I was gonna say was is that you shedding light on that Starbucks situation broke my mind because I had no idea. I had no clue that was a thing. Like I knew about people canceling it, and I know like I try to avoid personally the cancel culture stuff. Like
right.
Keep my distance.
As I sip my Starbucks real quick.
Man, it's toxic. I mean, you gotta do. It's supporting the community. Well, I mean, what we gonna do at the end of the day? And
right.
To know that there is a lot more context to that situation around, like, you know, they wanted it to do it their way, right? Like,
yeah.
Business at the end of the day, and they wanted to have the message be presented in a way they felt like was appropriate.
Right.
Is that, you know, I get because I'm in it right now. Like the other me, the me that works at a nonprofit, right? Like I'm in these conversations about how do I show up at work and not compromise my identity for your safety or for for what you feel is appropriate, right? Like these
Mm-hmm.
standards have been placed upon us, and I don't look at anything as like I need to get rid of you. What I need to do is work with you, and we need to find common ground. And a
Right.
lot of times it's easy for people to get in their echo chambers on social media and be like, oh, well, they did that wrong. And instead of
Right.
trying to figure out the answer or figure out the right way, we just go to, well, you no longer, like, imagine being a 5-year-old in class and the teacher says, you got it wrong. You're no longer a part of class.
Right.
How do you figure out what the answer is if you're just excluded? So to me, I look at it like that, like, how do we figure out, can we have the conversation, and then from the conversation, can we find a resolution? And I think
Right.
saying that about, you got in there, you were able to have those conversations with people who have some level of power, and then leverage that power back into the community even more,
Right.
represent who lives there, who's from there, is powerful within itself. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
LO, the whole idea is about, being a really inclusive and being supportive of, the positive side of things, not to ignore the struggle. It's not to say negative things don't happen, but we have to maintain consistency around a positive
Right.
approach to finding resolution, because at the
I
end,
agree.
we all people. And so
Right.
seeing you as one person take what you had and flip it and be able to be like, we out here, we gonna make it work, I'm gonna just give it to my friends. I think, it needs to be highlighted, and people need to know, like, the stories are always complicated and there's always two sides, and it's not so easy to just be like, well, we done, because
Right.
it's different for every person involved.
It's so easy to cancel a corporation, right? But you don't think about the people that it employs, especially in inner cities. Like, okay, I'm totally against gentrification and, yeah, getting rid of the mom and pop shops and stuff like that. But if these corporations don't care that we don't want them here, they're going to come anyway, right? And now they're going to employ the people of our community that are usually Black and brown. And well, my community, like where I live, I don't know what the demographics are where you live, but like, to me, it's just, people are losing sight of the people, right? When we say Black Lives Matter, we're talking about people. We're not talking about a movement. Like, Black lives, human beings. Like, so I feel like sometimes there's like too many hands in the pot. There's too many voices, trying to outshine each other and out yell each other and out protest each other, that they miss the point that this is about Black lives. This is about lives, and they're Black lives that are employed at that store that y'all want to boycott. And now there's going to be Black lives without a job. You think the government gives a fuck about them? No. So it's like, it's like people really need, I know that there's great people with great hearts in this movement, but I think that we always got to come back to the point that this is about people, and it's about loving people. And I always say love is not enough to make a change, but it must be the foundation in order for anything to be sustainable. And so I got chills. I feel like I'm about to preach, but yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I mean, let it go.
Right. It just frustrates me, and that's all.
No,
Because, yeah.
I'm right there with you. Like, I feel it. Like, I'm just to kind of bridge the gap, right? Like, I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from San Francisco, California, right? And everybody has their idea of how, it's progressive and it's liberal and, it's forward thinking, right? But in reality, when you a Black person or a brown person, I always tell people, like, it's not about racism, and the racism don't show up like hatred. It shows up as indifference, right? Hatred means I got to acknowledge you there. Indifference,
Yep.
I'm gonna act like you don't exist. And
Yeah,
that
that's crazy.
happen is that, we live in this city where I see so many people from out of town come and they're like, I want to be a part of the culture. And you don't even take the time to learn the culture, to understand the culture, to really submit yourself to what the culture has already been like, to
Right.
understand what it is, to then support the culture, right? And so to me, when you say those things about like, we just gonna cancel a whole corporation, like, it's tough when, you know, that is true. Like those corporations do employ people, and there's more conversations to be had about how do we leverage that to be better rather than getting rid of it outright, because
Right.
we still got bills to pay, we still got mouths to feed, and if we are trying to like help build our community, well, there's some level of monetary responsibility involved, and
Exactly.
we're not at the table having those conversations with the people who sign the checks, and
Right.
we're there to piss them off. Well, I mean, there might be an ally that we turned into our enemy if we're not mindful of how we approach them, right? Like it's a fine line. It's like there's a time. My mother would always say, "There's a time and place for everything," right? There's a time for your anger, and there's a time to learn how to manage that anger and concentrate and refine it into getting it across in a way that isn't gonna harm someone else. Because that's another thing
Right.
I don't really take into account, is that if we're just harming each other, there's no harm being resolved, right? We're not addressing it, we're not acknowledging it, and we try to, you know, we can get lost in it, and it just becomes
Yeah.
a cycle, right? If you keep doing the same thing and you expect different results, well, that's insanity. And
Right.
sometimes people can look really insane. So, you know, I feel you. Trust me. Out here, I've been in the marches. I done protested so many things, and
Right.
it is tough when people get involved who may not have any awareness of what it means to really show up in that way, in a
Right.
responsible, sustainable manner, as you said.
Yeah. You said it perfect.
I would say it begins with educating yourself. And I think this is exactly why we're here, to educate others and to shed light on these topics that need to be not just discussed, but acted out.
Yeah. I agree completely. And I think it's a layered thing. I think that everybody has a role to play. I think that, like, so I'm for the riots. I'm for the peaceful protests. I'm for burning this shit down. I'm for singing Kumbaya. I'm for it all, because I think that everything has a role to play. Like, it's just finding where your role is and how you could support the movement in any way. Because this is not, you know, just a Black Lives Matter movement. This is a people movement. This is a fucking revolution. Like, that never really ended. You know, so I think, yeah, it's a layered thing that I've had conversations like this so many times, and I don't know if there's actually like a conclusion we could come to, or if there's an answer or a solution we could find. I think that it'll be an ongoing fight, because this country was built on racism. The system is not broken. It is operating the way that it was created to work. So it's like, what do? We can't just infiltrate a system and fix it. We need to, I almost said destroy it all, but the FBI is probably listening. We need to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
we need
I hear you.
we need to, like,
I mean, you know,
something's gotta happen. Like,
you know, we swerve, and you know that, right? The thing is that what I want to kind of take in and really highlight is, right, you said it's a system that's working, right? I think that if we are very mindful and very open, right, there are things that we can exploit and duplicate that are part of the system, but not the whole system, right?
Right.
It's more so because I mean, trust me, the other me, the me that ain't in LO, trust me, I'm right there with you. But
Right.
time while I'm here, let me be the one to kind of like frame it in this way.
Right.
The way that I'm trying to frame it is, right, we seeing it all play out, and there is no answer. There's no one person has stepped up as our leader, and to me that makes sense because all of our leaders got killed. So why would anybody want to take that responsibility? So to me, it is about the people. And you know, with that, do I have my own criticism? Yeah, because I'm gonna keep it real. I've been a part of the struggle. I've been out here since I was a child trying to, you know, change things. And I've seen
Mm-hmm.
how little people would show up, right? And I'm hoping that people, because they can't turn away from it, right? Like, we right now are dependent on technology. Imagine the conundrum of like, yo, we are trying to talk about a revolution when there's billionaires who benefit from our revolution.
Right.
Not talking about that, right?
Right.
Here just being like hashtag, not realizing that every time we share, somebody's getting paid off of pain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It
It's
reminds
wild.
me back in the day when everybody, I mean, it still happens, but people get the airbrush shirt with the RIP, and we not realizing that there's a guy who's getting paid off of people's
To
pain,
make them. Right. That's wild.
right? So in this idea, right, there's so many pieces to kind of dissect and pull apart. And to me, my humble request is we need to be organized. We have to
Yeah.
and we have to unanimously agree on certain things, because once we have those things uniform, it's no longer, like, I've gotten into the arguments too, people who were against the rioters or against the violence that's been acted out. And I'm like, when you've been on the opposite end, the receiving end of all of the violence and the unjust cause, how do you expect people to act out in any other way when that's all they've been shown? Like, if you're not going to take it upon yourself and go volunteer your time to go into the hood and teach some little kids how to read, because guess what? In the Bay, when you look at the statistics and the data,
Mm-hmm.
they're already determining who's going to jail in the 3rd grade based off of attendance, based off of their reading scores, and based off of like their participation in class. So if
Yep.
you're not going to take it as a person who is against the idea of violence and show compassion, love, empathy, and be able to equip them with resources, valuable education, and just go into the hood and be like, look, I got books. I'm here to read. I'm a
Right.
volunteer at this Boys and Girls Club. I'm here for it, right? If you're
Mm-hmm.
not doing that, then what are you doing? You sitting on the sidelines and you complaining. And to me,
Right.
that's where I find it difficult to just, be all peaceful, whole hum, when it's like, no, we can do things that can disrupt this system. We can throw little wrenches in every
Yeah.
if we're thoughtful and we're looking at what's in front of us. And what's in front of us is people who are tired, people who, like yourself, you're sitting here highlighting the what you've noticed and what's impacted you and trying to convey it to others, right? Like you are becoming a beacon for other people to identify with, to be like, you know what, she a white woman, maybe I should think twice about how I respond to Black people, because she's obviously showing some level of compassion or empathy, and because she looks like me, I may resonate more with that.
Right.
People gonna feel how they feel about it. People gonna be pissed about it. Like, how could this white girl do that? Man,
They do already.
spectrum. Thank you. I appreciate it, because we need everybody at the table right now. We need everybody.
Thank
Every
you.
person matters. Every person needs to be a part of it, but it won't be that way until we can have Black Lives Matter and we have people
Right.
speak on it and say it. And so to me, I'm just looking at it from the perspective of, how do we infiltrate where we can? How do we make the adjustments where they're needed? And if it does mean to dismantle it, I'm not one for necessarily blowing it up, but if that's what has to happen, I mean, it ain't gonna be me.
Right. 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 I like what you said, though, how everyone needs to be at the table right now. Because if you look at the history of every civil rights wave of the civil rights movement that's happened in this country, there's always been white people a part of it. And the media really does divide us. Ever since this country had a media, it's always been Black people against white people. If you watch this documentary called Soldiers Without Swords, it's amazing. I watched it in my race and ethnic minority group course in college, and it blew my mind how the media really divides us. Like, it really perpetuates this idea that white people are not for Black people. Now, don't get me wrong, demographically in this country, white people usually live around white people, right? Because of segregation, because of the way this country was made. However, in every movement, there has been white people. So like if I go into a room, right, automatically because of my skin color, people are going to listen to me more than they're going to listen to y'all. Am I cool with that? No, that's awful, right? But at the same time, I must be aware of that. So I must be aware of what I'm saying. And I must be aware, especially if I'm speaking on matters as this, and if I'm in front of people who are, you know, part of the movement, I must be aware that my white privilege holds weight and that a white supremacist system cannot be dismantled without white people. I say this all the time. If Black people were going to dismantle an oppressive system that oppresses them, they would have been did it by now. And I know that's not correct grammar, but Black people are the most innovative, strong people. We all come from Black people. The first human beings were Black. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that is just like, this is a fact. Like, so if Black people were going to destroy a system that oppressed them, they would have done it already. Like, so we live in a white supremacist system in this country. And I truly feel that it cannot be destroyed without white people like speaking up and saying that this is wrong and sacrificing their privilege. And, you know, like there are many situations where like my whiteness doesn't count because I'm outnumbered by Black people. And then, you know, I open my mouth to talk and my hair is curly, they don't know what I am. So it's like, when I say we need white people, we need like white people, like white people, like who come from white neighborhoods, who, you know, and I feel like a lot of white people are afraid, or they feel like their voice is not valid, or they feel like they're not educated enough to speak on these things, right? The only reason why I know this history is because I took courses in college and I get books on my own and I have people recommend books for me to read. But I don't feel like you need historical knowledge in order to care about the murder of people, innocent people. You don't need to have all these books I got behind me. Like, you don't need to have them. All you need to have is a heart and to know that you hold a privilege, you hold a weight. Your skin holds a weight that Black people do not hold. And so it is now, you have more power automatically. So I feel like, I know I'm rambling, but it's like you must have compassion. And my point is that this system, we need white people to fight alongside Black people. Yes, I always say let Black people lead, specifically Black women. But like we need to fight alongside them. Like we need to be there. Like, and especially a government that thinks that, well, that thinks that they have all the power, that does have all the power, that was built to benefit white men. If they see a diverse group of people, they're going to be like, holy shit, our attempts to, you know, segregate the country and, you know, separate and go prop the country against each other is failing. And I feel like that's when we really truly get power. So yeah, I feel like some of the stuff I say is like sunshine and rainbows, and the other part is like, we're gonna burn this shit down. But I think it all goes together at the end of the day.
You right.
Right?
Love so below.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I just be ranting, but hopefully you got what I'm trying to say. More white people need to own their shit and not be afraid to speak out.
No, you right.
Don't be afraid.
You right. You are right. Like, couldn't have said it better myself. So,
yeah. So yeah, there's that.
Well, thank you. There's that, and then that's the beginning. I think there's that. That's our beginning to go out and band together, really as a collective, to create sustainable change, right? And
yeah,
reassessing where we are as a people, and where does it begin? It begins now with these hard to have conversations. So with that being said, I want to thank you, Leah James, for coming out and for sharing your pieces, sharing your wisdom, sharing your perspective and where and just, well, I'm definitely filled with hope that, you know, that there's progress that has been made and progress that has yet to be made and will continue to be made. And I want to thank Cineo for co-hosting this piece. Any lasting thoughts?
You know, it's just this is amazing. Like, you know, just to be frank, you know, because it's we're all coming from different angles, right? We all coming from different places, different experiences, different lives. And, I hope that, what people take away from this is the idea of like, we not always going to agree. It's not always going to be the same way, but we all here for the same reasons. We're here to just live and
Mhm.
and have our lives be respected. And so, Leah James, like, thank you so much for like, being with us, giving us this time and giving us insight because you share a valuable perspective that people aren't aware of. Like you said, we need the whitest of the white people, right? Like
Mhm.
you've immersed yourself and it wasn't by choice. Like at some point you decided to keep going, but you were born into this, right? And so
Right.
now here we are, and there's people who may never get that distinction. And I would be ignorant to not say people dumb. And with that, right, like you touched on love, and for me to come from a different angle, like learn how to love,
Mhm.
because it is very easy to hate another when you don't truly love you. If you don't
Absolutely.
time to appreciate who you are and feel empowered by who you are, right? It's not enough to see another person and use their stature to revalidate yourself. I'm not talking about that because that's what happens. I'm talking about looking in the mirror, looking at the person sitting in your skin and loving you so that you can learn how to love others and learn your love language and communicate that. Because
Yeah.
as easy as it is to say educate yourself on all these other things, we don't even talk about your wellness, your mental health, and your self-love. So please,
Right.
by all means, love yourself. So, Leah, do you have any other things you want to? I mean, I have a lot of questions. I don't,
Go ahead. You could ask me whatever you want. I'm in no rush. It's up to you.
okay. So, what I want to know is, how did you become a spoken word artist? Like, what? Take me through that journey. Like, how did?
Okay. So when my mom died when I was 13. And so when my mom died, I moved out to New Jersey. That's how I ended up out here. I think I said that earlier. And one of my I'm the baby out of 5. So one of my older sisters bought me a notebook and was like, here, you should write about how you're feeling. And I'm like, what? Like, what are feelings? Like, like where I'm from, we don't talk about how we feel. We just survive. Um, so one day I became extremely suicidal because after my mom died, it was horrible. I moved into a really abusive home and it was just really, really bad. And I always say, instead of picking up a pen to slit my wrists, picking up a knife to slit my wrist, I picked up a pen and I wrote instead. And it saved my life. So I would write my prayers for the longest time. I identified as a Christian at the time, and my family was Muslim. So to respect them, I would write my prayers. I would write letters to God. I would write about my pain because my sister I moved in with was 17 years older than me, and I didn't know her. So I moved in a house full of strangers. Like, it was horrible. So the only thing I had was my notebook. So poetry is extremely personal to me. I don't write anything I don't believe in. I don't speak about things that are not from my heart. Um, so then I started writing, and then when I had a stroke, I lost my short-term memory, and that's how I became a spoken word artist, because I challenged myself to memorize the poetry. But for years, I didn't know that what I was writing was even considered poetry. I was just writing to survive, to live.
Okay, so you was writing letters to God.
Yeah.
These life situations happen, and now here you are as this strong woman who is definitely striking a whole lot of people in the hearts with your words. And I mean,
Thank you.
it definitely, the as intentional and as unintentional as the segue was, like, that goes back to what I was saying about, like, you were able to find a way, in the most indirect way, to find stability and a foundation for you to find some type of wholeness, right? Like,
Yeah.
throw what it's gonna throw at you, and you had something to at least try to anchor yourself with, and to, have, don't judge a book by its cover, but at the same time, you wrote your book and you're still writing your book. And I, people take those things for granted. So, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
That piece right there. That's major.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Yes, and I noticed in your pieces that you do have an element of faith within them, and there's a line to go back to Dear Black Man where you say, and they are no savior, and you're referencing, I believe it's could you tell us a little bit about that story that you're referencing in the Bible?
Yeah, so in the Bible, Jesus spit in the dirt to heal a blind man, right? And so I say that they spit on your character to help the blind see, but they are no savior, they are serpent. So basically, racist people are Satan. And that's what I feel. I feel like racism is the biggest evil in the world. Yeah, and like what white people who are white, have made race to be. Because if you look around the world, the evil that it has caused and the death and the chaos that it has caused, I truly feel like that's the devil. Like, that's pure evil, and we miss that, especially in Christian settings. Like, they just don't acknowledge that. And so that's why I said that. And then that's why I also said later on that God's image is etched into your very being. Like, and we were truly made in the image of God, right? And these white slave masters used Christianity and twisted it in a perverted way to make Black people believe that they owed them their lives. Like, how could you do that to someone that you believe is a human being? And that's why they created the 3/5 law, where like, oh, well, they're not human, to justify their evil. So like, there's so much behind what I say. And my faith plays a huge role, even though I don't go to church anymore. And I'm like debating on whether to keep calling myself a Christian or not, because that has a negative connotation. I don't believe in no white Jesus, like, so it's like, I have a faith in a God and a power greater than me. So that it bleeds through my poetry no matter what, because my faith is what saved my life. And I look at people as like, we love one another because our Creator loved us, right? We are loved, and that should be in us. So that's why I put those lines in that poem, because I think it's really important to draw that godlikeness to people of color, Black people. Yeah, because they're dehumanized in every way in the society. That was a good question.
You definitely hit it on the head, like ball. Literally entendres that easily slept on, because you come in with it with all this, just your life story, your lack of a better term, baggage, and you get to unpack it.
Oh, it's baggage for sure.
I mean,
but yeah.
out here, we all got our bags, but
right.
From one artist to another, I always, sometimes you got to look back at what you wrote, because there's so many layers to what it is you're hitting on, right?
Yeah.
Know that you're hitting on this layer of like, it is a very difficult conversation to talk about God's country, if you will, where, Christianity it's going through an evolution, if you will, right? It's going through this phase where people like yourself are trying to figure out, what does it mean in this society when so many people have used it. And that's, I think, the biggest distinction. Like you said, like, your faith in God is what got you through this, right? And now you're trying to show others how that love transcends and translates through what you do and who you are.
Yeah.
There's people who will use that for their own benefit, for their own, devices of evil, where, like, whether you want to look at it in the most, faithful in the belief systems of religion, or you want to look at it as pure science, like,
right.
We all have an ego, and how we challenge our ego is going to make the difference, right?
Yeah.
Let our egos run rampant, then we going to forever be trying to outdo ourselves and try to compete against these non-existent entities for power.
Right.
And you see it on both ends, whether you're doing the devil's work or whether you just trying to satisfy your ego, it's the same result. Someone has to suffer. And I think that, you said it best. It's like, it was your faith, your love and your faith that got you through everything, because, some people do give up. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
And for you to see, like, all right, this is what you giving me. You gonna give me the lemons? All right, we making lemonade, we making lemon heads, we making lemon pop.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. There were times where I wanted to die straight up. Right. And like beg God to not let me wake up in the morning. And then when I did, I'd be disappointed. And so that's why and when people would call me strong, I would be like, oh no, it's God, it's God. Now I'm like, now I'm strong as shit, because that's how I was created. Like, because God made me that way. And that's more empowering than taking the power away from me and giving it all to my creator, because I believe God has created us to be powerful. So yeah, that's another reason why it's like a lot of my upbringing and my teaching is like, it's very, I don't know, it's very negative almost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're not enough within ourselves. And that's not a belief that I can ascribe to any longer, because I am more than enough within myself. And that's why I say, like, the white Jesus, the white Christianity was used to teach Black people that they are not enough within themselves, that they need a master, that they need someone to answer to. And we don't answer to nobody but God. Like, so it's like, it's so layered. So thank you for saying that. Like, I really do believe that I have taken lemons and made a whole buffet out of these damn lemons. But like, it's something greater than me, that has made me to be that way. And thinking that way has just empowered me even more. I want other people to be empowered, to know that, like, that same God who made me this strong has made you the same way. Like, we are made to be resilient. We are made to be powerful. So I don't regret, like, I don't regret leaving the church. I don't regret, any of that. It's been a journey. Don't get me wrong. People still talk shit, but if anything, it's empowered me way more than it has beat me down.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Beautiful. You've been created to create. And what a goodness. So it's something that everyone needs to know, that yes, that they were not only created, but that there's something in them that can master greatness and can master strength. And you're living proof of that.
Thank you, man. I'll just be out here trying to live.
Oh, aren't we all? Not everyone has your story, and as particularly with your mother, particularly with your brain hemorrhage. It's remarkable, and it's not something to put down. It's something to shine a light on.
Thank you. I used to feel like, I remember like laying in bed feeling like ever since I was a little girl, like I've had these deep ass thoughts. It's so annoying. It's draining as hell, right? But like, I would always feel like I didn't have anything to give the world. I literally felt like this, like I had nothing to give the world. So I prayed and I asked God to give me a story that I could tell it and that people would know that he's real or she's real, right? Like that there's something greater than us that is real. So it sure enough happened. And like now it's like, that's why I could still hold on to like what I'm rooted in. And it may not be called Christianity, you know what I'm saying, or as we know it, but I know that I'm rooted in a belief that there is something greater than me, because when I asked for an undebatable story, I got it. And not only did I get it, I got more than what I asked for. Like I got a career. My voice has been heard around the world. My life is filled with people who love me because of my poetry. Like, so my life is filled with tragedy and loss. And yes, I got a shit ton of baggage that I'm working through, but it's like everything has a purpose. And if I could say that, and I've literally stared death in the face and got beauty out of that, or beauty out of loss in every way, I really believe that there is nothing that anyone cannot overcome. I don't know if I said that correctly, but you know, we badass. That's all. That's the point. Like we're all amazing. Like, but you gotta believe it, and it's something that is an ongoing process. Like, I'm not confident every day. Like, I just came out of a really deep depression, and I don't even know if I'm fully out. Like, so it's like, yeah, right, girl. I'm like, what? when's the last time I showered? Like, it was that serious, like really bad. Like, depression is real. So that's part of the baggage that comes along with my greatness. So when you look at people like me who are beautiful and inspiring, just always know that there's a time when I don't look this good, and then I cried for 7 days straight, and all my relationships with men failed because I don't know how to be intimate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is real shit that comes from losing everything. And so, girl, let me tell you, I met my 17th soulmate for, like, you know what I mean, last week, and he's gone already. So it's like
some flames done settled out.
So it's like I like to shine light on that too, to make it known that you are enough in all your brokenness and all your tragedy and all your trauma and all the bullshit that we face as human beings, whether you're Black or white or whatever. And my life experience has taught me that. And it's something that I sometimes have to intentionally think about and remind me. And so I kind of I do look at my tragedy as one of the biggest gifts that I could have ever gotten, because I have that to lean on, that it belongs to no one else but me. My story is mine. My experiences are mine. My survival is mine. And even though it weighs really heavy on me sometimes, it also is a banner that I could wave that, like, is something to celebrate. And I think everyone can find that in their life. That was good. Make sure that's recorded, because I want to write that down, put that in my book.
For sure. It definitely, we got you.
When that book come out, you come back. And
all right.
Okay.
I'll give y'all a shout out.
Get that release date unlocked.
Got Leah James with us here, Lyrical Ones. We have Leah James. For those of you that don't know, hitting us with powerful words, giving us and being vulnerable with us, much appreciated, and even more empowering for you to do so and for other people to see it. And, just to touch on what you said, the part to me that sticks out most is when you said as a little girl, you used to think, like, I don't have anything to give to the world. But I think what's most inspiring about that is that you felt the need to want to give the world something.
Wow.
It's easy to be so down on yourself, to be like, I don't have anything to give. And yet, who told you had to give anything at all, right? And yet you feel selfishness to be like, it's not about me, it's about the world. I want to give to the world. I don't know what to give. I don't know if I got it to give, but I want to give something to the world. And here you are, giving to the world. And so, to the little girl,
never looked at it that way
right now, right? Who's doubting herself, who doesn't know if she's enough. The fact that you even want to feel that, to feel enough, to know that you want to give something back to the world, by all means, you're going to do it. It's going to happen.
Right. Yes.
Right? Whatever that was, whatever that little thing that influenced you to be like, I don't have nothing to give. Well, who asked you to give? Thank you for giving. I appreciate you for giving. Like, this world is complicated and it's a mess as is. And knowing that, there's a little girl out there right now who's going to share that same experience. Hopefully she hears this, and hopefully she knows all things will come true if you wanted to. You just got to believe, and you got to keep pushing. And so,
and you are enough already.
Exactly.
You don't got to go. You don't have a whole brain aneurysm to be great. You don't got to lose everything to be amazing. Like, I wish I knew that as a little girl. I'm great. I was great, just enough. That 13-year-old girl living in the hood, eating, going to bed hungry, not eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was enough then and there, and I am enough now. And that's beautiful. I never looked at it that way. The way that you just explained it, that was amazing. So thank you.
I mean, you're amazing. So, thank you. Like, it all goes full circle. So
right.
It's a trip, but it's necessary.
Yeah, for sure.
With that, I know you spoke about some of the events once things, whenever this thing happens, normal, that is.
Right.
But like, do you have any other things that you're currently working on? Any opportunities that you got coming up outside of, your live performances and pieces that you're doing? Like, what else is going on right now for Leah James that you want people to know?
So I'm going to write a book, and it's about damn time. And I keep saying that, and everyone's like, well, when are you gonna write your book? And I'm like, well, when I'm not poor. And I'm like, well, that's not gonna happen anytime soon. So let's just write this damn book and add a chapter in there about how I wrote the book while I was poor, right? So I kept on finding all these excuses about why I wasn't gonna write the book, because there's still a huge part of me that doesn't want to be seen, that doesn't want to be known. Someone said something to me the other day that changed my mind. And he told me I was selfish for thinking that way. And I was like, excuse me? And I was like, when he said that, he's like, you have such a gift and such a story to tell the world. To keep it to yourself would be selfish. And when he said that, you know, I'm like, all right, damn, now I really got to write this book, because like I ain't no selfish person. So, right?
That part.
So yeah, so I was like, oh man. So I want to write a book of poetry, because I could literally write a book tonight with poems. Like, so my first book I want to release is poetry, because that's what people know me for. But I want to write memoirs about my life, from childhood to who I am now. Like, how did I become Leah James? I want to write books, man. Like, spoken word is great, and I love performing, even though it's not a performance for me. I just love yelling on the stage and crying in front of people. Like, so like I love it. But right now I just keep going back to my book. I said earlier to y'all, someone blessed me with lighting. So I'm gonna work on my photography skills, my videography skills. I'm into modeling, so I'm gonna be pursuing that when the world opens up. Try to, you know, get this ass on a runway somewhere.
Yes, hunty, yeah.
Right? I want to do it all. I'm on this healing journey, right, of like healing my inner child, which is hard as hell. You don't realize how traumatized you are, and so you think of that child. And when I was little, right, I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to do all this stuff. And the other day I was sitting there and I was like, yo, I'm funny as shit. People be cracking up at my Instagram. I be twerking on my Instagram. I be doing all the stuff that I did when I was little that like got knocked out of me from tragedy. And I'm like, wow, I'm healing my inner child just from attracting healing to me. So now I want to achieve all of those dreams that I had as a little girl, because I'm going to be 30 in October. I know I look good. Right.
In October too.
Right.
So
yes.
It's all about
yes.
that.
I forgot.
You.
Right. And so I'm like, my 30s are where it's at. Exactly. So I'm like, yo, I'm about to be 30. It's time to shine. Like, it's time to live and not just survive. Because I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to live. I'm just trying to survive. No, I'm trying to thrive. Like, it's time to walk into all of that. So that's what I'm doing. Huh?
In any way we can help you thrive. We, you know, here with Lyrical Ones, we represent Lyrical Opposition that also has Lyrical Academy. They put on workshops for poets. So if that's something that
I love
you
it.
like to do, we want to open up the door to say, if
for
you
sure,
workshop, that'd be so great. And the way everyone's tuning in, so you still keep that international. You know.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll be in California in November, y'all.
Okay, great.
So we gotta all like meet up in real life and do something magical. Even if like we're still on lockdown or something, we still gotta chill, get some drinks, some food. But I'll be in Southern California for about a week.
Oh, great! That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it.
See, look at fate. Look at that.
I know, right?
Right? That was dope.
Oh, yes. Well, let's see. This has been such an amazing interview. Thank you so much for coming through, allowing us to interview you and catch up and really connect. Let's see. I'm at a loss for words. It was so amazing.
I had a great time. You guys are amazing. Thank you for even asking me to come, like, and allowing me into your space, like, you know, and allowing me to share my heart. Not just about my poetry and, you know, I hate saying activism because I feel like, what am I really doing? But I'm, you know, talking about like using my passion and for, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement and just for the people that I love. Thank you for letting me perform and just showing my fine ass on this video.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, we love you, Leah James. Thank you. Yeah. Anytime, please.
For sure.
onto our Lyrical Ones podcast.
No, Leah, thank you for blessing us. Like this was definitely one for the history books.
Yes.
You know, we definitely, I mean, what can be said that hasn't been said already? I mean, we've definitely gone through a journey, and you've shared and been vulnerable and opened up to us in so many ways. And I hope that those that are listening, those that are watching, can, you know, feel inspired, feel encouraged to keep the dialogue going, to keep the conversation going. Like, you know, right now as of recording this, it's July 2020, right? And, you know, there's still so much work to do, and there's still so much energy to maintain, and we got to grow that energy. And hopefully this podcast, this conversation, this interview with Leah James inspires those who, you know, if you haven't gotten involved, get involved now, right? If
Yes.
you want to see a different perspective on things and you need a different voice, Leah James is here for you, right? Leah James, what is the way that people can contact you, reach out to you? What is your, you know, social media handles? How can people find you?
I have a website. Fancy, right? I know. Thank you. It's MissLeahJames.com. MSLEAH James JAMES.com. You will access all my social media through there. But if you don't want to go to my website, I am Leah James on Instagram. But it's Leah James, so it's LEAHH James. Because the other one was taken. It was like some other white lady with a guitar, and I'm like, first of all, I have a guitar, but you're not me, bitch. And Leah is sexier, so you'll never forget it. On Twitter, I'm James the Girl, because James is actually my nickname, and the girl because I'm a gangsta and I'm a girl, and was my Twitter before I ever started doing poetry, and I refused to change it. So you can just look up Leah James. If you look up Leah James, Dear Black Man, my YouTube channel will come up. Subscribe. I plan on utilizing that a lot more this year. Yeah. And you could just find me out here in these streets. That's all.
Out here. Leah, thank you. June, you got any final words?
Just 1,000 thank yous would never be enough.
Thank you, guys.
Well,
this was great. I just want to hug y'all. But, you know, Corona. But hey.
Hugs, virtual hugs, everybody.
Right.
Oh, yes, yes.
But you know, this is Lyrical Ones. This has been an interview with Leah James. Thank you all for being a part of this experience, and you know, to many more.
To many more. Thank you.
Yay.
All right, so we're back now, and you know, just to kind of keep the transition to have people understand, you know, the importance of that interview was about, you know, highlighting, you know, the current struggle that we're all in. Yes, 4th of July is around the corner. Yes, we want to celebrate each other, but we can't ignore the struggle that Black people are going through and all of the different perspectives that need to be shared and should be highlighted when it comes to this discussion. So keeping that approach of, like, you know, we complex humans, right? We have heavy, more really, you know, the gravity and the weight of what we do will always exist. But now as we transition, this is important because, you know, as before the interview started, right, Affluent has said Cross Allen's birthday. Now, I think he ain't here right now. He ain't here yet, but he is an integral part to what we do, why we're here, and why this whole thing happens. So moving from very heavy content to now having a celebrated and highlighting another person within this much important community, we gonna touch on the Lyrical Ones start, lyrical opposition, and Cross Allen's role within that whole movement. So while he ain't here, we're gonna talk behind his back. He gonna see the video footage. But you know, who would like to kind of highlight their Cross Allen moments and memories in time?
Hey, Alex, you gotta lead this.
All right. So we can start off with this. I'm gonna just start with we call the story "The Man." So Cross Allen and I, we went to high school together, the T-Train Thurgood Marshall Academic High School, for those that don't know. the Cineo. We got alumni in the building, alumnus, and back in the day, so I come from a single parent home, and we didn't always have all the up to date video games at the time, and Cross Allen being a gamer like myself, he actually let me borrow his PS2, like a real one, which is why we still in effect today, because real ones, do real things, for real folks.
Break it, right?
Like let me borrow the whole system though to the house, to the hizzle for a minute.
But like you gave
Long,
and it still was working, right?
yeah. I'm not. So that's another story. I'm not the one to burn out a system.
But
That's actually him. That's actually him, the one that's more likely to do that. But he let me borrow it. But I played it so long, I felt like it was mine. I gave it back, but I played so long that I was able to start a career on Madden. Gave him real simple name. First name, D-A. Last name, Man. 99 in the building, 99 all the way up, playing any position you want. So I return the system, return the game. Then I come visit, come out to his spot to play the game. I check on my character, erased. Right. Now, I didn't have no necessarily viable reason to be upset since it's not my system anyway. But I was distraught because, when you go in on the career, there's a lot of ups and downs. You feel like you're really going through a season or two or three, and you try to, you got your record, you got your stats, you got your trophies, erased, deleted, canceled. Still sore spot. Watch next time Cross on. He gonna tell you how funny it is to him. Because if he was here right now, he'd just laugh like one of those guffaw laughs. And it still stings to this day. He erased the man.
Erase the man. Erase the man.
Cutthroat.
We started
Cutthroat.
heartbreak.
Cutthroat Cross Allen.
That
Like
sound like fraud.
Mac Dre. Cutthroat Committee.
Man, that's crazy. Like, cause I mean, that's especially like, at the time, like I know, like, we was playing football. Like, Madden was like, that was another way to channel your energies as an athlete and to like really get in the zone. And knowing that you started a career mode and you got dude to like play any position, 99 maxed out, that means you put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. So at the end of the day, he just took a whole piece of your life and threw it in the trash can and threw it, just like destroyed it. Like that's time can't nobody get back. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
that's
like a
right there.
like a video film reel. Just like chopped it up, took that whole thing, trash.
Damn.
Whatever chances you had, we ain't even gonna get you injured. We gonna kidnap you and then you gonna be gone for 5 years. Like that's it. You gonna have to miss out on this experience.
But it's the trophies, man. It's the trophies.
It's painful.
All
Progress.
Wait, what year was this?
This had to be what,
this is like 2000.
Okay.
It's like 2000, 2001.
Yeah, see, that's
an era.
hey man. I mean, he was a real one for giving it to you. Like that's major. Like to give somebody your console, because it ain't like you walking around with 2 consoles. You know what I'm saying? Like
nah, not at all. He just waiting for it to come back.
Did he have like a or something? Did he have an Xbox? What like?
What he didn't have was an excuse or why he couldn't even say he was making space for something else. He just laughed at me in my face. That's what he didn't have no excuse for why he did it. Just kind of like my bad. He do this look away. My bad.
Man. But that's, you know, he did let you borrow it. It's a 50-50, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was about to say. It
But
sounds like
for those that don't know, we didn't have hard drives. We had memory cards. And if you didn't own your own memory card, you know, whoever had your memory card, I tell you, if you didn't own your memory card and somebody else had it, that was your life. That was your whole life.
Right there.
You're mad your phone don't work. Oh, look who coming in. Look, da-da-ding, da-da-doom.
Oh, right.
The man of the hour, the man of the moment. We got Cross Allen in the building. The man who threw away the man himself. What he doing?
The man who erased the man.
The man who erased the man.
Special appearance. What's going on?
Special clearance.
What you running out the movie theater?
How are you at the movie theater?
He just flexing in the COVID world right now. He flexing in the theater.
I'm about to sign out in a little bit. Just wanted to flex one time.
That is a major flex, man. Like, how the hell you get up in there?
Yeah, lyrical ones, the opposition.
I'm at an undisclosed location. I'm in the X-Men Danger Room right now. This isn't a real thing. It's a simulation. What are y'all talking about right now?
We talking about demand. We talking about Madden. We talking about PS2. You tell me what we talking about.
You told him about the man PS2. We gotta get something to get over here because he deleted the franchise.
Deleted the franchise. Franchise player. All bad.
We really trying to uplift and highlight you, but you over here in outer space or something with the X-Men.
Hey, I'm trying to highlight that Steve Stout commercial, that AI and Jada Kiss Reebok commercial from back in the day. That's what I'm trying to highlight.
That's what you're thinking about. A few days from your birthday, you thinking about the answer. They even put a zone in the league to try to stop him.
For real, I'm trying to celebrate. Yeah, my birthday. You know, Kevin Durant year, but I'm trying to celebrate these NBA 2K intros. Take and tackle the challenge, crash, course, collision. You know.
For sure.
And
like the contrast of heavy content to super lighthearted content all in one episode. Here we are, Lyrical Ones.
You mess it all up.
Just bounced out.
He just
Yeah, and he's out. Not a peace, deuces, salute, done flexing.
Man, this is like we're living low key in prohibition times, and this man's like in a movie theater.
In a movie theater, he does have his mask on, and I didn't see anybody else around, so he might be also social distancing.
For real,
Okay,
all by himself in the whole movie theater.
He just
he gonna celebrate his birthday. He gonna do it real big, real big. Like, oh, y'all ain't got nobody in the movie. Can I get in there? Can I just sit here for 6 hours and we can just throw on some movies? Let's do a marathon. Right on. I'm gonna pay y'all $50. Thank you.
Right.
Well, you know, when I texted him, I'm paraphrasing it, but he was like, "Yeah, I'm in an important meeting Q&A for a film," or like just real light.
I mean, you know, the thing I like to highlight about Cross is like you don't know what he's thinking. Like you don't know what's going on. Like the many occasions I've talked to him, you don't know if he's excited. You don't know if he's like happy. You just like it's all like
it's a poker face.
That's cool. I'll be like, I'm playing my music. Everybody else be like, he be like, yeah, right on. See,
yeah,
I mean, he's a good guy to go into business with because it's like if you want somebody to like reserve any emotions, he will definitely look like a stone cliff of nothing.
Yep.
He played close to the vest, man. That's all. It's like
Straight
Professor X, man. You don't know Professor X thinking. He know what everybody else thinking.
Exactly.
Right.
Cross Allen.
And what is Wheels doing more than anything? Listening. Right. Elite communication is listening. You know, and speaking of listening, that's kind of where we are right now in this world where, you know, we need more dialogue. But it starts with listening to each other's stories, uplifting those who have a story to tell, when we look at, oppression, when we start to judge people and misuse words, even terms like, caring, to degrade folks, to make fun of folks. We repeat in cycles, when really it's an opportunity to educate, as well as listen. And it's funny because, to educate actually means to bring out knowledge, and so to understand what you're teaching somebody, you need to give them a chance to express it, right, and exchange, what their understanding, what their grasp of the concepts are. And I think it's a lot of talking at people right now, and comes from pain for sure. But when people in certain instances are ready to listen, I think we should, take the time to do so, but also do the same, give them the same favor in return, so that we can come to better understanding. Because I think we're at a precipice where we can make a lot of headway and make a lot of growth, and we're not seeing all the laws change that we want to see change. We're not seeing legislation happen, but it's a litigious system that we're in, and we got an opportunity, to make headway, I think, at the voting polls. But before we get there, we still have to be loud. We still have to be willing to communicate effectively, as well as communicate understanding that we know that people are still lost. People are still not sure how to best help the situation, and if we can educate each other on the issues coming up ahead and really get to vote with our dollars and at the polls, then politicians got to listen. But it starts with us listening to each other, and that's not a political thing. That's a human thing. For us to listen to each other, that's a community thing. And if you're looking for somewhere to start, come to an outdoor workout and sweat a little bit, get tired a little bit, break bread a little bit, and put ourselves in a situation of controlled stress where we can have an exchange on the same level, because everybody gonna be tired.
Get your flex on, everybody. Get your flex on. I mean, it's crazy because you saying that. I mean, we touched on that inside. Not you. You the one working out all the time. So you flex, your shirt gonna rip off, and then this gonna be a whole nother show. So
that's why I don't flex, because I like my clothes.
See, exactly. Keep your clothes.
Hulkamania style.
The thing is, right? Like you touched on like the whole concept of education, and I know for the sake of the illusion, I know it seemed as though everyone got to see the interview, but not everybody got to see the interview. So just kind of giving a little snapshot in the interview we did earlier, right? Like we talked about what it means to educate, inform, and have kind of the mindset of how do we stay pushing forward for what it is that we want, right? Like you touched on health, and I was touching on in the interview about your wellness, right? And you spoke on it, like a piece of yourself you can remain undiscovered if you don't challenge yourself physically, if you don't move, if you don't get in tune with your body. And so like, it's just something that I hope people understand, that we're, as much as we're having this conversation, like these are things that we all practice in some degree, right? Like whether it's going to hoop or whether it's jumping rope, like at some point you got to make time for yourself to be physical. And it is about your wellness, because you can't, if this is a marathon, right? If this is a machine we're up against, you can't burn out and expect to win, right? You can't burn out and expect to have anything sustainable. We have to be sustainable individuals so we can have a sustainable community. And so, highlighting that is important, because it's like people don't talk about it enough. People don't talk about eating vegetables or the importance of like, lean proteins or complex carbohydrates. Like these are conversations that should be existent and always had. Like we kids, we understand math, we understand, reading comprehension, right? But what are we reading about? Are we reading about things that are gonna proactively affect us every day. Like, I come from a family where a lot of cancer, a lot of diabetes, a lot of, we talking about heart problems, kidney failure. Like, there's so many different levels to health, and the common conversation, oh, I'm about to go to McDonald's. You want anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, people, we ain't trying to tell you to change your life, but we are trying to provide an alternative. We are trying to provide another spectrum. We people of color who are trying to tell, everyone, like, look, it's okay to want to eat some brown rice.
Mhm. Some brown rice, some cauliflower rice, start somewhere, some quinoa, find some alternatives. My thing is always with nutrition, Rand, is to open the doors wide open instead of closing them and say, I can't eat these things, I can only eat this. Like, find the things that work for you. Find the things that benefit you and your body specifically. Um, instead of saying this worked for so and so, so I'm gonna try this. Um, get to a professional, get to a nutritionist, get your blood work done. Find out what works for your blood type. Find out the shape of your body. Learn more about your genetics, and even find out the type of movement that works best for you, whether it's yoga or animal flow, or some form of resistance training, metabolic training, or some HIIT training, or some CrossFit with a good coach from a good box. Right now we're in a place where a lot of stuff has to happen digitally, via video calls and whatnot, or get a workout sent to you. Find out a way to explore what works best for you. And fitness is the pillars of fitness are like puzzle pieces, and they work because they're sustainable. If you fell off for whatever reason, then it was something that didn't work, whether it was the time of day, the people that you was doing it with, or you was doing it by yourself, or the intensity or the pace that you were progressing, you wasn't learning enough, you was learning too much. All those things matter when it comes to maintaining and being excited about your life. And that's really what it is, being excited about your quality of life, and finding ways to improve it. I've been able to work with all types of folks from 7 years old, well, really younger than that, TK to third graders, and 7 up to college and pro level athletes, power lifters. Like my oldest power lifter I worked with was 89 years old, and it's wild. Shout out to Roy Khan, who's a world record holder, and for his age group. RIP, actually, Roy Khan, 89-year-old, power lifter, doing it for a long time. And it's amazing what the body can do, when you challenge yourself. People don't even think, 89 years old, almost 90, powerlifting. People get started late. Some people get started early, but the biggest thing is you find what works for you and you stick with it. Keep that movement, keep that that adventurous mindset. Continue to find ways to rest and get sleep and recover, and then find proper nutrition. Works for you. Those are things that are key. To looking after yourself, longevity, but also wellness. It helps with your your mental emotional regulation as well.
No, you're right. You're right. It's true. I mean, I can speak to it just because, I've had my own journey. I mean, Figo done seen it. People done been around it, but it's like, it happens over time. It's not something that's instantaneous, right? You can make a step forward, but you got to make sure it's consistent, and it has to be sustainable, right? If you can't sustain it and maintain it, then you might set yourself back, and you might cause some damage, cause some harm. I've seen so many people be like, oh yeah, I'm finna go run right now, I'm finna go do this, and they exert so much energy because they think they're making up for missed time or lost time, and they end up getting injured or they end up hurting themselves. And it's like, no, that's not the way. This isn't to hurt yourself. This is to help yourself, right? To reduce the harm. So, it's important. Like, understand it's a journey, and it takes time to learn what practice works for you as an individual.
And that's kind of where we are as a country right now, I think, where people are exerting a lot of energy. And it's not necessarily a focused flame that's burning, and people kind of burning, in all these different ways and excited in a lot of different ways. And, we see a lot of different things happening. A lot of groups, a lot of people behind the movement, wanting to see progress, and still it's a lot of misguided energy, that we have to continue to kind of reel people in and connect with people doing good, and, continue to do good together.
No, for real, for real. This is, I don't want to say it's random, but you mentioned how people are saying Karen as like a way of just kind of generalizing this character. How do you think people that are actually named Karen feel right now?
Mm.
Imagine your name's Karen right now. I mean, do y'all know any Karens? I don't know any Karens. I feel like I need some Karens at school.
I got an
not
auntie.
Like the character Karen, not what she symbolizes. Like
I got an auntie Karen.
Okay.
I got an auntie Karen, and I know a few. I know another Karen, and I read a poem or a piece, a post by a Karen, who feel like the
damn, this one Karen killed all the Karens.
Yeah. She's just like, you could do better as a Karen,
Oh, like the poem is literally like, be a better Karen.
Yeah, well, yeah, from a black Karen.
Oh,
from a black Karen.
Karen know that she should start caring. You see what I did there?
Bars.
But yeah,
flame on.
That came to mind every now and then. I'm like, because there's other character names that have been, symbols for, right? Is there other names y'all can think of?
Yeah,
it becomes stamps.
Stamps. There you go. That's a good way to word it. Yeah.
Yeah. Question for y'all, like, since this is Lyrical Ones, I'm interested in like what y'all listening to lyrically right now. Figo, I know you putting out content left and right, like
another one this month. Yeah.
But who inspired? What's inspiring you right now in your writing?
Yeah, man. This dude, I believe he's from LA. He goes by Nilo, Nilo, and it's not even rap. It's like it's just literally poetry over instrumentation. It could be categorized as nerd rap. That's something I was reading up on his stuff. They're like, oh, this guy kind of falls under nerd rap, whatever genre or whatever box they're throwing him in. But yeah, man, there's a song called Metaphysic Folks, and he's under Nilo, Nilo, and yeah, man, he just like kind of like literally one of the first verses he talks about. He's like, I should get off my couch. I shouldn't watch Netflix. Some like just like real relatable bars that sometimes we get super complex and introspective and like he's just literally like, yeah, I should go do something with my life. And it's just internal dialogue. I'm into that. I'm into understanding what are you thinking, and then when it comes out in song form, it's really dope. So that's one of the cats I've been listening to. And then I heard y'all seen the thing on IG or Jadakiss, or it wasn't on IG this time, Jadakiss versus Fabulous. FABO, man. And I just had to go revisit some old Jadakiss. So it's funny that Christian mentioned the Jadakiss.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Jada was a beast. So
Jada's still a beast.
Yeah. Oh, word. I haven't heard the latest.
Ignatius is legit. Yeah, Ignatius is legit. Have you listened to their joint project Freddie
Oh
versus
yeah, with
Jason.
yeah, D Block.
No, it's Fabulous and Jadakiss.
Oh no, I haven't. They did. Oh, that's right. They did do a full project, so it
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
was waiting for them to play that on the verses, but they didn't get to it. They didn't play no tracks. They started to play something, and then they went another way.
Yeah,
It
man.
was it's good.
So
That's
that
one of my
balance
favorite. That's one of my
between
favorite joints in the last couple of years.
spitters like that, and then I got this new, I guess, new age rap or whatever you want to call it. That's kind of what I've been listening to, but just like a balance of shit I grew up on, and you know.
Yeah.
How about y'all, man?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm gonna be real. I've been listening to a lot. I listen to a lot of different stuff as is.
Yeah.
When it comes to rap, recently I've revisited. I want to say like Freddie Gibbs, Currency, No Name, Smino. Like it's all over the place. But the one album that I've been like really jamming out to, like recently, is The Smartest by T Grizzly. Like The Smartest by T Grizzly is like it gets you hyped, and like he's speaking that like everybody against me, everybody wants something from me, and like at the same time like you're witnessing kind of where he is in his journey, where he's had this really tragic loss in his family, and he's now trying to be like he said like he's trying to be the smartest dude by not getting caught up, by not getting caught out there, by like being able to avoid all of the possible downfalls and pitfalls that are associated with being a black rapper from the hood. And like he said with all the spice that you need, all that aggressive content to be like, yeah,
That production.
I'm about to go get it. So
yeah,
something tough.
I'm about to go get it.
About to go get it. What about
nice? Yeah. Me, I'm always back and forth between the now and the past.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Negrito. I'm always, jamming to him. He
He's
dropped
from
something
out here
new
too,
this.
right? He from the
Yeah,
Bay?
he's from out here. Yeah, he's from the Bay, from the town. And then Rex Life Raj is also from the city. And then still got James Brown and Bob Marley, Kamani Marley, and Kamani Marley in the rotation. I was listening to reggae today. It's one of those things. I always need positive music, so I'm always listening to soca music out of the Caribbean, out of Trinidad and Grenada, St. Lucia. Let me see. That project that Jadakiss and Fabulous did is called Friday on Elm Street. So it's Freddie and Jason. And let me see. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I listen to a lot of lo-fi.
Oh yeah, man.
Cause I be chilling. I always need that. I need that vibe sometimes, especially if I gotta do like scheduling and things like that. Just coming down from like the information and disinformation of the world and social media. It's like when you gotta like scour and like scrape and scratch for like the truth. It gets cumbersome, and sometimes you get weary. Just finding all this dirt that's out there, and I just trying to find chill vibes sometimes.
Yeah. See, now you got me thinking about each mood in which music fits into. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when you just the way you shared that makes me think of like when I'm studying, I gotta throw on jazz or just instrumentation, like some Miles Coltrane, like that. Just I don't know. I just vibe out and it allows me to focus. It's interesting. Like a legit had a teacher back in the day. I think it was like sixth grade. She threw on jazz and classical music when she would give us assignments, and I feel like my brain literally is able to go to that focus.
Jazz actually makes your brain stronger, man. Especially
Man,
if you do it while you're studying, because it's a lot of improvisation, and so the patterns are kind of tossed to the wind. And so, like when your brain is waiting for that next chord to come in, that usually, right, jazz takes a left. Not only does it take a left, it take a loop and a right, and then
yeah,
starts in the beginning.
Comes back. Yep.
And so your brain is doing that, processing that music while you're focused on your project, whatever you're working on. And it's actually building, your critical thinking power.
Dang, that's encouraging.
So you leveling up.
It's real.
Yeah, man. I could go on for days in this subject matter, obviously. Yeah. It's almost like, every mood. Y'all got me. See, now I almost feel like pulling out my phone and going through the playlist. I was slapping Mobb Deep earlier today in the morning. I don't know why. It's just something about it. Something about how the drums hit. I think, Havoc was a beast on a lot of that production. So, something about the East Coast rap, man. I'm still a nerd and geek out to that because as much as I'm, this is the soil of the Bay Area, something about lyricism always kind of go back to the Mecca. Not to say we don't have lyricists out here, because lately some interesting I've been seeing is a lot of artists that were influential were listening to hieroglyphics, and I think I saw an interview, Andre 3000 was like, yeah, we were trying to emulate those guys. And that blew my mind because here you got Three Stacks, who the whole country is like, you know what I'm saying, just sees as one of the top 5 a lot of times, So it was Three Stacks and Eminem that said how much hieroglyphics influenced them. And where are they from?
Yeah.
From this
Shout out to Hyro.
Man. So anyways, we could go down the rabbit hole when it comes to influences of music. And I mean, look, I got, see this?
Yeah. I picked that shirt. I was just biding my time, man.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to the purple one.
Yeah, man, the purple one, man. Royalty.
Yeah.
Minneapolis,
his hometown. He's still living out there when he passed away. All right, rest in power.
Yeah, man.
To George Floyd and Prince, man.
Word.
Now two men, from out of there. Well, George Floyd wasn't even from Minneapolis. Get caught up. It's crazy, Remind me of like when Mac Dre passed, because he was out of town. He was away from home. And, we would have loved, for him to be home. And then, we got folks like the Jacka, rest in peace, who got caught up here.
Yeah.
Caught up at home. And it's one of the things we got to continue to switch the narratives, that we are not better together, because we really are. And we got to stop, trying to climb up over each other, and look to keep each other around. So we can celebrate our legends.
Word.
While they're still here, and and give props to the new legends, on their way up. Like Figo Navarro, De La Paz, real legends on the way up.
Man,
folks
Osborn, Cineo, come on, man. Lyrical Ones, June. Yeah, man. It takes a village,
Yeah, we doing it together, man. We doing it together for sure.
Hey, but we were just, all right. This last question revolving music, so I don't continue diving in. What is the music that you discuss about jazz and how that gets your brain going? How about working out? Like people have different workout playlists. What is Alex Osborn listening to when he's working out?
So I play music for my soul. You may it's not about the pace, it's not about the RPMs.
It's not about the tempo.
I mean BPMs, not about the beats per minute. It's not sorry, I'll be thinking about moving fast. RPMs, I be moving. It's not about BPMs, it's I will go all over the place from Ghostface to Diplo to James Brown to Bobby Blue Bland. I will go to Beanie Man, to Machel Montano. Like I will go to Shinsia. Like I was just listening to 93 Till Infinity the other day. I'll play Trick Daddy and Trina, Trick Daddy Dollars. Slip and Slide crew out of Miami.
Hey,
I play
yeah.
Two Live crew. I play Eshawn Burgundy, like habitually. Like yeah, it's just music that that I could kind of dive into, listen to, and just things that hit my bones. Um, yeah, that's always I can go all over the place with music, and it ain't got to be fast or slow. Um, yeah, because my mindset is, how do I get to a place where I am reliant on God, and because I'm trying to recreate that in a controlled space, because that's when we grow, when we're at our bottom. And so in my workout, I'm trying to recreate that bottom that life is going to try to toss me into, that depth, that well that life is going to try to push me down into. In my workouts, I'm trying to get there to that space where the only thing keeping me alive is something out of my control. And then how do I respond to that? But I can't respond to it unless I get there, and get in there as a practice. And so that's kind of where my mindset is. There goes the game.
I love that, man. That's real. So with you, Cineo, well, where do you tap in, man? This is
For the workout,
yeah, man.
man. For the workout, I mean, honestly, it's all over the place too. Like, I mean, the thing is, it's hard to even narrow it down to one artist because, like, I mean, you talk about genre, we talking about old soul music, old R&B music, and I'm talking about eras. I'm talking about anything from the 50s to now. If it has any inclination to reach my heart, I'm gonna listen to it. Like that's
I was working out. Yeah, yeah.
as far as working out. Yeah, as far as working, I mean, life in general. Like
Word.
I remember I was doing a competition, and to get myself pumped, it was Daft Punk's "Doing It Right." And I remember my coach was so upset because he was like, "This isn't gonna get you pumped. Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Yo, like this is me right now. This is what I need." You know what I'm saying? So it's like, music. It's whatever is gonna, to me, it's whatever moves you and whatever resonates within your soul, whatever touches your heart. And I will say I would say the thing I play the most working out that I find myself somehow always stumbling back to, if it's not myself, it's the Tekken 3 soundtrack of remixes. The Tekken 3 soundtrack of remixes is the most eclectic sounding musical soundtrack I've ever heard in my life. But at the same time, like, it gets you pumped. Like, we talking about, like, my go-tos is these right here: King, Eddie Gordo, Law, and we talking about Hahachi, Ogre, and to True Ogre. Like, you do a workout off of those, you gonna feel like you've climbed Mount Everest. You gonna feel like you've done battled and went through everything. Like, those 4 songs, especially when I get to those 4 songs, my workout is at its peak. Like, I'm pushing past all my limits, every barrier. I'm like, I gotta go Super Saiyan. The hair gotta go blonde right now. Like, I gotta run into another dimension. So that's my workout playlist, if you will.
So if we talking about like where songs occur in the workout, like Brian Fury's theme starts in the beginning of the workout. Then I got Jay-Z's "What More Can I Say" is like in the middle of the middle of the workout, and then toward the end, I may end up with the second theme from Attack on Titan, season 2, toward the end to kind of bring me back down, or it might take me up again, because I might get that second win or that third win, and I still gotta get all of this energy out of me. I gotta get all this extra out of me, and that the Jay-Z's "What More Can I Say" always put that switch on there, and also 8Ball and MJG, "You Don't Want No Drama." Yeah, that always take me there. Outkast, Mighty O, Mighty O. Um, yeah, I guess all over the place. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I could take it there off of that. Um,
Put some of that Gap Band on it. Put some Charlie.
Gap Band, Boss Tycoon, Mac Dre, Yugmouth. Yeah, it could get started any kind of way.
We could go there.
Before Night Run, play some Al Green.
Oh yeah. Fun fact: my first concert that I ever had tickets for was Al Green in Oakland at the Paramount.
Legendary.
That's what's
It
up.
was my first concert that I ever had tickets for.
That's dope. That's hella dope. Love Al Green.
Yeah.
But as you see, music is a universal language, right? Like, I mean, just to bring it out, like Teriyaki Boys, they're from Japan, right? And like, for me, it was just dope to hear a different language, right? Like there's music from other countries that, I mean, you listen to Cuban music, like Cuban music is some of the best music in the world. Like, you don't have to understand it to feel it. Like, just listen to it. It's gonna speak to your soul. So, it's one of those things that music, it is a healing thing, right? Like, we talking about wellness right now. We talking about your whole self, your health, and music and fitness go hand in hand. I mean, every time I see an athlete, they gonna try and somehow sell you some Beats by Dre or some type of some type of headphones, like. It goes hand in hand. So it's like, people, if you love music, the least you could do is dance. So, get moving.
Yeah.
Get moving.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's real talk. And if you another great dance music is also Afro beats, Sarkodie, Davido, Wizkid. Make sure folks out of Ghana, West Africa, Nigeria. Everybody's burning boys on everybody's scope right now and making music. Shout out to Mr. Easy also. That Afro beats, that that music from the motherland.
Wait, but you've been in these spaces though too. You've traveled. You're a traveling man.
Well, that's also the part of it, man. It's like to go to the places where the music is made, like to see what they're talking about. That's like another thing. It's like when they say like numbers and sounds have colors, and to see what the artist is painting with, some of that is going to where they come from, going to those places. Yeah, so I got to go to Ghana last year. That was dope. It was, what tripped me out was going 7,000 miles away to feel at home, and to have a feeling that I had never felt before. Even though I love the city I'm from, I never felt at home like I did when I was in Ghana. That was wild to me, to be in in the towns, and I probably traveled like 500 miles while I was there. Stayed in different cities, 2 nights over here, 2 nights over there, a night this direction, went east, went west, central. And they rock with us heavy. It was just a powerful experience. Whenever we can get out the country, I feel like I waited too late. Make sure you got your passport while we in this, this COVID world, while things are slowed down. I think that's one of the best things you could do with your unemployment check if y'all not working is get your passport, put the money in on your passport, get that taken care of. Like those essential offices open downtown at City Hall. Go get your Social Security if you need it, or your birth certificate if you need it. Go do what you got to do to get your passport so it's ready when they open them gates back up and countries open their borders. Do your research. You can get your shots right now. They doing elective, procedures or whatever. So you can go get vaccinations for travel. You can get that right now at the hospitals as well. get that taken care of early, so you ain't got to worry about it when it's time to travel. And then do your research. Talk to travel agents. Talk to groups. There's a lot of groups that's doing stuff for people of color right now, and it's a great time to get out, especially because the world, the planet is listening and following along with the Black Lives Matter movement, BLM movement, and they're taking their cues from what's happening here in the States. And it's a lot of people, fighting for equality and equity, whether it's in Yemen or Hong Kong or in the States. It's a lot going on the planet, and people are more aware of what's happening to Black people in the States now than they ever been, I think. At the same time, it's a lot of people denying it to the best of their ability, as well. And the planet as a whole, we're the United States and Western civilization as a group does not acknowledge the wrong of the transatlantic slave trade. That's why people can't just expect reparations, because folks don't want to let go of that they was right. And that's the crazy thing, because if you think you was right, to treat people like they was less than human, to treat people like property, you're not gonna change a lot of things. You're not gonna rewrite no history books and tell the truth. You gonna do what you can. You're not gonna take it out of your constitution. You go write an amendment. But the same law is still right there in the Constitution that folks is 3/5 human. But they love them 3/5 to death. And they wish they had more, and so that's it's one of the things where the dehumanization of people is still prevalent. We see that, and the only way to, like, if there was a video, if there was body cam footage of them shooting Breonna Taylor in her bed, then just the viral activity of Black suffering and Black body suffering is the only way to seem to make noise. Is the only thing that brings any kind of change. Is that we have to suffer enough, or it has to get enough exposure, or we have to experience enough trauma for money to move. Because money, that's all it is money that don't want to move. Racism is economic. It's not personal. It just feel like it because they want to keep their money.
Well, I mean, it's even more crazier. It's like those with money, right? They get paid off of it, and those with it's just these seeds that are planted to keep those in power. Like, when you were saying all that, it reminded me of what I saw. I saw a video on the United Daughters of the Confederacy and how these women came together in the South after the Civil War so they could maintain their legacy and their heritage. And the way they did that was they started propping up statues all over the South of Confederate soldiers, right? Like, this is the losing side, right? Like, y'all was the losers. But they created their version of history so that way they could maintain posterity with what they believe. And that trickled down into the next generation of kids, and then they grew up to become politicians who then enacted all of these segregation laws. So it's one of those things where it is this vicious cycle, right? It's like on one end there's those with power where it's economic, and then there's those that just don't know anything else, that have been literally raised into it to believe that this is truth, and then they perpetuate that truth, which is false, it's lies, it's propaganda, to maintain a difference in how we live our lives, right? We got what we got, y'all ain't got what we got, so we gonna keep it separate. And it's like also speaking to it, like, oddly enough, wearing this mask, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but I do recommend it. It's called The Watchmen. It's a show on HBO, and it is like a morphed version of where we are right now, because it's the first episode, without giving away the rest of the series, starts off in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Right when the riots happened, right when they tore down Black Wall Street. Like, that's where it takes you, right in the middle of it. And me, I didn't even know about Black Wall Street until I hit my 20s. Like, I remember I went to see a movie about it and was like amazed that this thing existed, but I was also like had to cope with the fact that my history has been kept hidden from me. When I went to school, like, this wasn't discussed. We didn't talk about this. We didn't know that this existed. And it took for someone to bring me to something to show me, oh, this is a part of my history. This is the reality of what's happened. So it's like, the vicious violence and the vicious pain that's been done. It's also a lot of acknowledgement around the history that's already been laid before us, of how not to repeat those steps, how to avoid those things, and how to progress in a way that is positive. Because like, at every turn you can find something, and it's best to know what's happened already, because that way you don't lose your momentum, you don't lose your energy. Because me, I already knew, like, the racism exists, but it wasn't until I hit my 20s I was like, oh, they slaughtered a whole town out of them having money. Like, let's be clear, it was straight jealousy. It was straight us trying to impose our economic power by just slaughtering people. And who are the people they slaughtering? Black people. So it's like, for people out there, like, be aware, get in the know, understand. And, to some degree, hopefully you can create a refined approach to how to vote, with your dollars, to how to show up in a way. And when we say vote with your dollars, right, that's like your dollars count. Where you put your dollars is going to make someone either empowered or it's going to leave somebody without. So when you voting with your money, that means where you spend it, where you share it, where you give it, you have to be mindful of what is that contributing. Because me, I'm like, yo, somebody in and out, one of the presidents he gonna support old boy. Nah, I'm cool. I can't do it. I love you. I miss you. I hope you get your act together, but I'm gonna make my own burgers. I'm gonna go get my own bison burgers and make them and be grilling and chilling. Because as far as I'm concerned, I know that my contributions, I can't vote with my money here. I gotta go elsewhere. So just be mindful, be aware, get to know and understand.
Word. I got pulled over by police last night.
Where were you? Where were you at?
I was actually exiting on 6th Street. Yeah, a 7th Street exit to drop off a friend. And as I was pulling, I got pulled over, the lights and the whole thing, right? And it's been a while, but she's like, oh, are you okay? Like, she was freaking out. And I'm like, nah, this has happened, but obviously with the constant, the constant videos we're seeing, it's like everyone's on edge, So I had that little moment of like, yo, this could be a situation that could lead into, so, but interesting enough, I pull over, he does the instructions, and he's like, hey, you were swerving. Oh no, he's literally had me roll down the window. He's like, how much did you drink tonight? Like, literally, like, just the first thing he asked me. I said, I haven't drank. Then the second question was like, what did you drink? I said, water, which is true, but just interesting enough, like, just the way he went about it, and and he had me roll down my window, and then he did the finger test, he did this one, and then I have and then dude is flashing his light, his partner's flashing the light, inside the car and doing all that, like as if I'm looking for something. But this was very odd, and I get why they did it, but I was wearing a beanie, and had me take off my beanie, and it was just like, check my hair too, like, what is going on? And in the past, I've been checked for tattoos or whatnot, which is weird that, like, he had me take off my beanie. It was just like the weirdest thing, because it's like, if I'm driving, I don't know, if I were to have narcotics or something, I'm just gonna put it there. I mean, there's like a lot of space in the car to throw it somewhere else. I don't know. I was just thinking about his logic. Um, but what I'm trying to get at is that, you know, my friend who I was with, she was like considering filming it, right? And I was like, nah, it's good, because I think we're also in a space of filming could trigger the officer to feel some type of way about it, you know? So I was like, I don't know. I mean, I was just, it's a gamble, because then again, it could lead into something, and a camera would be supportive, you know? But I put my hands on the steering wheel, you know, so I'm showing him that I'm like, hey, my hands are present in front of you. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna let you go off with a warning. Um, but it's obviously because I'm staring at his eyes, like, and I even told her, I was like, was I turning weird? Did you feel like, you know? But it was definitely, I'm driving pretty late with a beanie on and whatever description he viewed me as, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe it looked like one of the little homie characters from the, you know, the 50 Cent machines or whatever. Um, but yeah, man, it was been a minute since it happened, and I think this one hit differently, being that it's a, you know, now it's 24/7 in our face, incident of it going the other way. And you know, Cineo knows this. I've had a few since a teenager. I've been having my conflicts with officers, and a lot of times it's because I would talk back. And you know what I'm saying? But I don't think it gave him the right, like, for, you know, not to get on some testimonial, but 17 years old being stomped on the ground, and you don't do that to a kid, man. So as I got older, I just learned to, these guys just want you to say yes, yes sir, yes sir, even if you know you're right. You know what I'm saying? It's like this act we got to play on. Because that could have turned completely different if I would have been like, nah, I didn't. I was driving correctly, sir. What are you talking about? Now I'm like questioning his authority. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I bring all this up to, you know, we talk about education. Unfortunately, I feel like this is something we got to train our youth now more than ever, of how to play the game, how to operate, because it's part of it is some psychology behind it. That could have completely went off the other way if I would have been like, I don't know what you're talking about. Why are you asking me if I drink or not? You know what I'm saying? You gotta play the game. And don't get me wrong, a part of me was like, wanted to say a whole bunch of other things, but I have a friend with me that I'm thinking about her safety. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I just brought that up because as we're discussing the system we're living in, um, you know, I think about, yeah, man, like just my community. That's also, you know what I'm saying? Being the fact that I think about a whole ICE thing, just a whole lot of things going on. And yeah, I feel overwhelmed. And so I just want to share that because I was like, man, you know what better place to just talk about it as personal experience. And this just happened last night. So um, there's a lot of education behind the system that we have to let folks know about, you know. That's even just knowing how to talk to the cops. But yeah, anyway, thank you for letting me vent. I know I kind of went left field, but I think there's some relativity right there.
Oh, it's hyper relevant, man. Like,
Yeah.
first off, you know, thankfully you safe, you here with us. You know what I'm saying? Because it is one of those things where, yeah, it could have went left. You know, and that unfortunately, like, even the fact that you got to negotiate, like, I've had to do those same negotiations. I've been in the same situation, right, where it's like, you know, you get pulled over and it's like you do have to put on that act, like, yes sir, yes sir, no sir, sorry sir, even though you didn't do nothing wrong. It's just straight up like, let me submit to you and your power of authority over me in this moment, because I know this could be life or death.
Yep.
I know it ain't gonna be nobody else life or death in the balance but my own. So it's like I gotta all the way be lesser than what I want to be, because you have the ability to determine how this is gonna go. You could take away my freedom, you could take away my life. So I have to be mindful of stroking your ego, right? Like,
Pretty much, yeah, literally.
I gotta stroke your ego. I gotta put it on thick. Like, you know, like I'm, you know, speaking of my experiences, like I remember somebody had told me, like, you know, like the best way to do it is put everything on the dashboard. And that's what I started doing. I was like, all right, I'm gonna turn off the car. I'm gonna put my keys on the dashboard. I'm gonna put my license on the dashboard. I'm gonna put my registration on the dashboard, and I'll be like, everything's right there on the window, in front of the window, because I don't have time for you to want to mistake a sudden movement or me searching for something to be he had a weapon. Like, I don't be knowing half the things I have in my glove compartment. So what, I'm supposed to just open it up and be like, yeah, and then I have to deal with maybe you don't even have good vision. Like, I got to deal with your fears and your internal struggles and make a mistake that wasn't a mistake. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel you, man. Like, it's tough because it's like, you know, people talk about living in a surveillance state, and it's like you even had to negotiate within yourself, like, yeah, we shouldn't film them because it might trigger a response. But it's like, I always look at it like this: like, what if you had a dash cam? What if you had a dash cam and he's saying you swerved and you go replay the footage and you see you did everything right? And it's like, well, okay, then now you have probable cause to bring up, because this is the thing that my other self, like I said it before in another episode, people don't do like official complaints towards the police enough. And they have to. You have a right to do so. You have a right to know what's their name, to know their badge number, and to take that information down, right? And yes, it could make a response where they feel and they want to antagonize you, right? Like they want to become aggressive towards you, but you have a right to do so. And you have a right to file a formal complaint and let it be known. Now, the thing is, people don't do it. I've talked to so many people who've been put in so many messed up, horrible, abusive situations at the hands of law enforcement. And what ends up happening is, when it comes time to say, all right, do you want to file a complaint? 9 times out of 10, and I'm telling you, because I've literally worked at the point of arrest. I've literally worked with people who've been arrested, and I'm sitting there talking to them as a community person, telling them, all right, do you want to file a complaint? And this is after they've received their citation. This is after they've been fingerprinted. This is literally what I'm saying. Would you want to file a complaint? After they've told me their whole story, their tears in their eyes. And what do they say? Nah, I'm good. I'm okay. I don't want to deal with it. Right? Like, you're right. And I get it. Like, it's traumatizing. It's scary to even have to think, I gotta go back and deal with y'all again to some degree. And y'all have a unified front. Y'all have a police union. Y'all have money that's literally stashed away just for the cases or just for the cash out. Like, people don't even trip off that. They cash you out and they have money set aside for that, right? So it's like, but who am I? I'm one person. Maybe I got a family, maybe I don't, and I'm supposed to go up against y'all. So it's, you know, it's just crazy, man, when I hear you say that story and how much it brings up all these emotions, feelings, because it's like every time I'm cool, but after I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm
straight up.
You know what I'm saying? I'm shaking. Like, I'm like, on one hand, I'm angry, and on the other hand, I'm like, yo, that could have been my last moment. That could have been the last thing I ever did. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm double parked, and oh my God, it could have been my life.
This whole other thing,
Every time I'm shaking.
Yeah, man.
Every time. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
It brought me back. It's been a minute, so it brought me back to other incidents where, you know what I'm saying, I got the homie telling me, hey, bro, like, chill out. You ain't got to say nothing, you know? And I had to literally go back to that in order to maintain my composure. Because
Tupac moments, young Figo out here on his Tupac hypes, all right?
Man, I can't go out like that. And
he was a young man, a young man. Yeah. And, you know, I feel you, man. But it was on one end, it was justified because you wasn't angry out of nothing. You was angry because of the world we in which you had to witness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is,
Brett, if we had cameras back then, Brett, I'm telling you, I mean, I always go back to the time I got stomped down. I mean, I could have got a cool lawsuit, man. I'm just saying.
Could have got cashed out, man. Could have got your.
I could have got a car earlier in my life.
A little bit earlier. Who knows if you could have kept the car, but you would have.
I know, right? That's true.
So I feel you because it is one of those things that you got to think about. Like, you know, we live in this age where, like I said, it's a surveillance age, right? And it's like, you know, I hate to be the one to say it, but it's like, just as much as they film us, we got to film them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Police to police, man.
There's two sides to the story. And the thing is, I know that they take an oath. I know they take a challenging job, but at the end of the day, you're still a person, and people make mistakes. People will do things. People will hide things. People, I mean, I mean, you could look at the Khalif Browder story and watch it on Netflix. That's not an isolated event. That's not just he's not an outlier in a situation. The only thing that makes him an outlier is that Jay-Z decided to want to executive produce and highlight his story, because there's so many more stories like that. And it happens all the time. So it's like, all that takes is one interaction, right? Like it could have literally been like, oh, it's the first of the month. Let's see if we can get something for our quota.
Yeah.
I see your car. You know what? You gonna be my target for the night.
Yep.
You gonna be
that was, man.
what I use to make an excuse for what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Take your
So we gotta educate our youth, man, to stay prepared and learn how to operate in those spaces. Because I know damn well at a certain age, I especially when I know I'm not wrong, it was so easy for me to be like, just want to pop off, and now they got an excuse. Oh, you're not cooperating. Oh, you're speaking back to me. Oh, can you step out the car? You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, it could just, in a matter of seconds, your life could be in a whole different space. So yeah, I'm grateful, man, that voice, that experience was able to kick in. But I think for a lot of youth, they don't have that. And everything is just like, you know what I'm saying? Right there at that moment, they react, you know, flight or fight. And yeah, I want to encourage folks that as we're actually discussing this, you know, with the organization I'm working with, some of the folks I'm working there, it's like, what is that going to look like? And also in reaching out to some officers to like speak on it, kind of like what you did, you know, a few years ago, Cineo. Like, we need to address these things with actual people that are in the work as well, because until we start that dialogue, it's just going to keep being like, nah, F them. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, just to kind of highlight it and put it out there for people that don't know, you know, we're all coming from the San Francisco Bay Area, and within San Francisco, there is an organization called CARC, right? Community Assessment and Resource Center. They are a part of Huckleberry Youth Programs, and so to kind of touch on both, right? Huckleberry Youth Programs was started by Huckleberry House, which exists in the Haight, which was for kids who were running away. It was about 50 years ago during the Summer of Love. So kids were coming to, you know, from all over the U.S. coming to San Francisco during the Summer of Love. We talking about protests. We talking about people who are, you know, the hippie movement, people trying to find liberty and liberation and freedom through, you know, being in San Francisco, right? The progressive movement, that era. And this person opened up their home to kids who were running away from home because they were trying to run away from all their problems. So Huckleberry Youth Programs is now 50 years later, has all these different aspects to their program. And one of them is about juvenile justice and reducing the recidivism rate. Now, recidivism means rearrest, those who get arrested and get rearrested, right? So what they're trying to do is they intervene at the point of arrest. If a juvenile or a youth qualifies, what they can do is they can introduce them to services, and it's a diversion program. It's trying to divert them from getting involved into the system of incarceration. So this is a program that's been around for over 20 years, and what they do is they are trying to change the narrative of how we engage law enforcement, how we engage the justice system. And people don't really realize this, but like San Francisco is I think it's one of the only juvenile justice probation departments in I think the state and the country. Like, you have to understand that, like, juvenile justice is usually a part of the adult justice system, right? The adult probation system. There's no separation. San Francisco, because of all of the progressive measures, tried to keep it separate. And within that, took it a step further. This happened, like I said, about 20 years ago. They were like, all these kids are getting arrested. Why? Well, it's because these kids need support. And so what CARC does, the Community Assessment and Resource Center, is it gives them case managers to then support them with getting resources, whether it's jobs, you know, figuring out what's their situation with their health care, their mental health, getting them counselors, you know, showing up at the school so they can, you know, get the basic things they need, having an advocate in the room. I can't tell you how many times I've been able to see the other side of how your principals, your teachers, everybody, they have their own agenda. And 9 times out of the 10 that I've seen, it doesn't really include what the youth needs. It
Mm.
usually is just based off of what can we do and what do I want? Not you as a youth, me as an adult, right? So to me, it's one of those things that people aren't aware. So if you are in the San Francisco Bay Area, or if you are looking to get some insight into what it means to be, a diversion program and to see the inner workings of kind of how do we move and progress things forward, I think that CARC is a good place to start that conversation because they've been involved in the work for so long when it comes to working with the juvenile probation department in San Francisco and what it means to create non-traditional means of, how do we repair the harm that's done in our communities every day, right? Kids are going to make mistakes. And the last thing we need to do is make them out to be criminals when in reality, I mean, like I said, everybody got their own thing they trying to see happen. And
Yeah.
especially when it comes to you being a police officer, I could talk about it to no end. There's so many police officers who don't come from San Francisco, who
Yep.
don't want to work with kids. And here we are intersecting with not only the culture of what already existed before you became a police officer, but now you got to interact with an individual who you have no want to interact with. And trust me, they're out there. They don't want to work with them. They don't want to have a conversation with them. And now they got to sit up here and say, all right, I'm going to read your Miranda rights. Trust me, things get dicey. So, for those that are interested, it's out there. Like I said, Huckleberry Youth Programs, CARC, CARC. And, just get informed. Be inclined to know. There's programs and services out there. And, get to know it so you can duplicate it or make it, on a grander scale for more people to have access.
Yeah, man. Salute, man. Dropping knowledge and wisdom, man. Yeah, man. You're encyclopedia, bro. I just gotta say that because as you're sharing all this information, it's like this is stuff that once again I say this. I feel like it's the 5th episode now. We need to be teaching this at schools, man. And after this whole thing is over, I think we're gonna have to reevaluate what education looks like.
For
You
real.
know, they're looking at it now. You know what I mean?
Yes, bro. I'm out here. I'm trying to get everybody. Everybody need a penal code book. Everybody need a penal code book. How we gonna sit up here and say we free? We don't even know how our freedoms could be taken away. Like we don't, like, bruh, like for real. Like I get on Instagram. I know there's gonna be somebody who knows what's going on with Kim Kardashian. I try to avoid it, but
Yeah.
I know it's somebody who knows. So
Yeah.
if I ask them, hey, what's the penal code for jaywalking?
But you hear that new Kanye though? That new Kanye with, you know what I'm saying? Wash us with your blood. Dr. Dre, Jesus King Part 2. Hey man, I know you're excited. There's some the music enthusiasts and lovers excited about that. But yes, back to the main point. I'm more informed about Kanye's new song than my.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that like
I knew where you was going with it. I just want.
when I think about freedom, right? Like
Yeah.
you're only as free as what your limitations are, right? And we can't act like there aren't limitations. Like there are laws, and if you break a law, that means that you're taking away your freedom. And so to me, I'm always pushing people to be like, get to know that, right? Penal code books, they're updated every year with the new laws. So if that's the case, you need to be up on game with what the new laws are. And
Straight
so
up.
to me, it's important to engage with it rather than act like it's just cool to just have it not be there. So, to me, I'm just like, get to know what the law is, get to know what's out there, because it's important just as much as we love to see what's the newest Yeezys gonna look like with the newest Yeezys, but what's the newest law, right? What's the newest law that's on the books? Because
Right.
you could break it and that could be your whole life. That could be it. You finito la música, you gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
think about those things. It's important. It's important for all of us to be engaged, to be informed, right? I think penal code books should be given freely. I think we should be, just like they dropped the phone book off, it's the same size. It's the same size. You can't just give it to us for free, for real, for real.
Yeah, they should be
Tell us
available.
the laws.
They
The
should be available
laws.
in public spaces. They should be available. You know what I'm saying?
The laws, bruh. These are the laws. These are the things we need to know. We
In
can't
order
get it.
to function as a society, and yeah, I got you.
They still dropping off phone books, bruh. We got cell phones. What we doing out here?
Hey man, my phone rang right when you said that, man. That was too like.
Cause you know they listening to us. We sitting up here,
Um,
we sitting here protesting on a billionaire platform. Think about that. I
yeah,
said it in
man.
the interview. I'm saying it again. We
Yeah,
protest on a billionaire platform. Think about that, bro.
yeah, man. I'm gonna have to start rocking the mask too, bruh.
Who getting paid? Exactly. You see how I'm wilding out here? Just wilding. But it's true. It's like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
protest and they profit from our protests, right? Every retweet, every hashtag, every share,
yeah. Oh yeah,
like
we've been saying that.
engagement, like it's not trending, y'all. It's not trending. And then we try to get it trending. But guess what? Either way it goes.
They running it. Yeah, they get to run when it's trending because it's still going on. Folks are still protesting. You don't see it as much on your timeline. Guess what? You know, they out there. They get to mess with the algorithms and, you know, give you the information they want you to see at the time they want you to see it, you know?
For real.
So, yeah, man, stay woke, man. And I know you stay with it. So, yeah, man. Lyrical Ones episode 5. Y'all wasn't ready. We hit them from different angles. We get a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Just a little help. We can break it down. You know, Alex, you just hit us with some health and wellness, and you know what I'm saying? We spoke of the music and how music moves us in different spaces. We've been talking about the world we live in with, you know, the justice system. Man, and you even drove back home as through this whole episode and have this fire background as through it all. Like, it's been a lovely Thursday night. You hear my phone's ringing when my boy's talking about the bed pulling up. We out here, man.
Out here.
Yeah, you got pulled over the other night.
Yeah, man.
You talking about the penal code. Talking about, you know, this nutrition, these workouts. You see me get that little quick shoulder pump in.
I'm about to be on it tonight. As soon as I get off of here, I'm taking the mask off. I'm about to go get the waist, about to hit the arm curls. I gotta get them
believe it or not, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stretch things out. The back nice. At 30 feel different.
That rubber roller. It's real life.
Trying to properly do it.
Go back. For real. Yeah. Work your back out for real. And I don't mean just work it out in that one way. I mean like really intentionally isolate muscles and work your back out.
Yeah, that is true. All exercises play a role.
For real.
Yeah, man. Important. You know this. Man, y'all, any final thoughts as we conclude episode 5 of the Lyrical Ones? I don't know.
This heat, that's what's finna happen. He hopped on and hopped off when we try to celebrate him. I like how he did that. It was a real classy G move. But I got him. One of these episodes, this is going to come. I'm going to catch him slipping. I'm just going to hit him with a lot of love. A lot of love.
Yeah, we definitely need Cross to I feel like he's slowly doing the like, oh, I could become the once in the blue moon guy.
Oh, he definitely trying to do that. But once that blue moon hit, it's going to hit.
Yeah. We're going to pull up on him. I know you being disciplined, but, you know, we're going to pull up on him tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. You know, we might have to hit you with the FaceTime, like, yeah, you know, you're here in spirit.
It's all, you know, it's all love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love you. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Like, it means a lot. And, you know, you
are love.
You know, like this is, you know, to many more laps around the sun. This is definitely a marathon, and you know, you're winning your race. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? You're doing it. You're bringing people together. You're giving us a platform. You're highlighting us, and we want to highlight you. And so, you know, celebrate your time, this new year that's upon you, your personal New Year's Day. Like, enjoy it.
Straight up, man. You are loved, man. You're cared for. And yeah, man, family out here, man. So we riding straight up. You know, 2020, man, to infinity. So
happy life anniversary, Cross Allen. I'm going to bed because I got to train somebody at 5 a.m.
Yes, that part.
That's
so as I hit them with the outro, I mean, hey man, I don't know if you have the music queued up. Cineo just flipped the June sample. You might want to stick around for this last minute, Alex. You might just need to hear that. I don't know if you can queue it up.
I mean, look, if you put thumbs up, I'll turn it up. If you put thumbs down, I'll turn it down. Y'all ready?
Okay, perfect. So let me just start off with this. I go by Figo Navarro. I'm with my bro Cineo. Alex Osborn, and this is Lyrical Ones, episode 5. Hit it. Yeah. Y'all thought we wasn't ready, but we are.